We are back. We are back one more time. We had some technical issues, but hey, we back, man. It's the 50-50 show, man.
Welcome to the 50-50 show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider. The realest show for Raiders.
Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We had some technical issues. We're back. We're able to get our stuff together, but we appreciate everybody's patience. Like we were saying, man, it's a whole lot to talk about. Obviously, the Raiders are losing their fifth straight game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And after the game, they went ahead and fired pretty much the entire coaching staff. So we got a lot to talk about. And is AP's coaching days, are they numbered? We're gonna get into that. We got some flags on the play, man. Like we got so much to talk about. We appreciate everybody coming through. Protect the Shield in the building. He says, my dogs, 50-50 time. You already know, man. I'm just going to go ahead and do this real quick.
Welcome to the 50-50 show.
You already know what time it is, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, we got everybody pulling up, man. So, look, let's not waste any time, man. Let's just get into it. Severe.
Yes.
What, like, should we start off with the elephant in the room, man? Getsy gets fired, you know what I mean, after that terrible game. Did you watch the entire game, that Bengals game?
Yeah, man. I've watched every game. You know, it's homework, right? Do I enjoy it? No. But,
yeah.
I'll be having to fight through watching these games, bro. It is tough. It is tough.
Nah, facts, 100%. This is probably one of the worst teams that we've seen in a while. You know, like there are other times where we kind of like we felt like at least there was some talent on the football field. It was easier to watch a little bit. It made some games. This is like we're going into each and every game, and I don't even know how the Raiders are going to win. Like literally, I'm not sure how the Raiders are going to win this year unless like the defense has one of the games that they've had like last season. If you guys remember, last season was kind of like that, but our defense was playing out their mind. I mean, they were able to make plays on defense and score, which we did get a defensive touchdown. Jack Jones, shout out Jack Jones, man. Everybody been waiting for that. But you know, that's hard to come by. I mean, I think I seen a stat where he's one of the fastest players, fastest players to get defensive touchdowns, and I think he's been in the NFL for like 3 years now. So shout out to him, man. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. The game was already out of hand. I mean, a lot of the things that I was concerned going into the game surfaced. I mean, Joe Burrow. When you play a good quarterback, they're going to expose you. They're going to expose you. They're going to expose your weaknesses. And you know, it felt like Joe Burrow was unstoppable on Sunday. I mean, he had like 5 touchdowns, I believe. Like he had 5 touchdowns. But what were your thoughts, man, just from watching that game? Like, I mean, I know like we weren't really surprised that the Raiders lost just how they've been playing as of late. But the performance overall, like how did the team respond?
Yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad. The most glaring issue you saw, especially offensively, is just our inability to get any kind of push in the run game at all, man. Like no push at all. Like we're not making any kind of headway in the run game at all. Really not good in pass pro. You know, I think we had like 5 ankle injuries in that game, something crazy like that. It's like, and this is what I said, man, like, because it looked like the Raiders were actually out there trying to win. And, like, the football guys took care of us, man. They're like, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't win this game. Like, y'all know what time it is. It's time for y'all to get a quarterback. And when I saw Colton go down, I was like, oh, yeah. Like, they go – like, the football guys making sure we don't win this game. And then on defense – we have absolutely no pass rush, man. Outside of Max, we have no pass rush at all. So a lot of the passes that you were being completed, you know, first of all, it was the tight ends was killing us, you know, and that was on Diablo and Spillane. But I can't even blame them because a lot of the stuff was like secondary reaction plays where Joe Burrow will buy some time and then he'll throw a pass to a tight end that found a hole in his zone because he had so much time to like exploit that. Like we're not making him get the ball out of his hands quickly. So
Yeah.
but it was to be expected. Like, we all picked against the Raiders. So I don't think anybody really in Raider Nation expected us to win this game.
Yeah, you talking about the game picks, which I gotta look at it, but I think your boy, hey, I think I might have won this weekend, won some games as well. I might have chipped at your lead because right now you leading the way right now with the overall record this season as far as game picks. But
I think you and Mike did.
Yeah,
I'm the only one that picked Seattle. I think the Seattle game is what did me, and they almost won that game. Those pissed me off, but we'll talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Friday. And shout out to Around the Shield, which we tune in every Fridays. We drop an episode every Friday, man. So definitely tune in for game picks, man. That's what I'm looking forward to. Actually, I like doing the game picks. So, but the Raiders, man, it's been a tough Lakeshore Raiders, just tank, baby. That's where we at right now. Just tank. Hey, if you're gonna lose right. Lose the right way so we can get the number one pick, get our franchise QB. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. We want to see competitive football, but this team, they cannot afford to get the number 13 overall pick, the number 15 or 16. We can't get those picks. No. We seen what happened last year. They had a scapegoat. Oh, we couldn't trade up and get our QB and da-da-da-da-da. We can't look. Y'all seen what happened this year. I mean, they put all their eggs in one basket with Minshew and AOC, but it is what it is. But let's just talk about it. I mean, like, forget the game. The game was a blowout. Raiders lose.
Yeah.
Ritter, do you see him starting possibly?
I think they're gonna roll Ritter. I don't see any reason why. Like, I don't see any reason why we would put Gardner Minshew back out there. We know what Gardner Minshew is. We know what he brings. The only thing I would say about Gardner Minshew is that, like, he's bringing us losses, and that's what I want to see. Like, I want to see losses. Yeah. Ritter's gonna probably bring losses too. They'll probably be more competitive, which I wouldn't mind. Like you said, like, the perfect Raider game for me is like, hey, going into the third quarter, it's a close game and we lose. Like, that's a good game. I got 3 quarters of good Raiders football, and then we lose the game, and that preserves our draft position, right? That's what I want to see. So I'm pretty sure they're going to run a roll with Desmond Ridder. I mean, he offers a little bit more in terms of athleticism. A little bit of a better arm. Not even a little bit of better. His better arm. His better arm than Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, to be honest with you. He has struggles with some accuracy issues, some processing issues, but he's more mobile than either one of those guys. So we can do a lot more stuff, with RPOs and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's definitely more talented than AOC and Minshew, but he's just not good.
No.
He's just not. He's just not good. Unless, like, he does something with the Raiders, but up until this point in his career, like, he's proven that he's not a really good quarterback. He didn't make it through training camp. I forgot what team that he was on the roster, and he didn't make the final cut. Was it Arizona? Yeah. So he got cut for Arizona, and I think Arizona traded for Ridder. So they had hopes that possibly he could lock down that backup QB spot, but he lost that battle and he got cut. And I know he had a really emotional comment or quote the week before. So I'm hopefully, it's all good. He puts up good film, but I'll be honest with you. If he starts winning games and we're just good enough to, oh my, if look, the only way, look, I don't want the middle. I want either we go to the Super Bowl, we're competing with the best teams in the NFL, or we just suck. Because if you get stuck in that middle, you're like in no man's land. When it comes to draft picks, it becomes hard to really get, like, first of all, you got to draft right. Let's be honest, the Raiders having
number one job.
Yeah, that's the number one job. But they did have a good draft class, it seems like, this year. So what do you think of DCam? Cameron Richardson.
He looks solid. I like what I saw. He's big athletic corner. He looked good out there. JB looked great.
He was competing against Jamar Chase. I'm like, well, okay.
He was winning. He was winning. Like
Hey,
he did a hell
man.
of a job.
One thing, hey, Telesco, it seems like he had a home run draft. If there's something that we could be positive about,
Eichenberg.
man. But yeah, man, Eichenberg, he hasn't really done too much, but we'll see. We'll see, man. But let's get into it, man. Getsy was announced that he will no longer be the offensive coordinator after the game, or actually it was like later that Sunday evening night, where I seen the notification where he basically was pretty much fired. He's not coming back, and they weren't done there. They also fired the QB coach, Rich Scangarello. His last name is crazy, and then also the offensive line James Cregg, which it's kind of interesting that they fired everybody at this point. Like, what are you trying to like? Because before the game, we didn't think that no one was going to get fired. We thought, like, you know what? They're just going to go ahead and just coach out the season, and then they're going to make changes after the season. Now that you fired I don't know what you're trying to do. And I think, AP said it was a move. It was a call that he made. So AP feels the pressure to win. He definitely feels the pressure to win and be competitive. And I think he's trying to fix the issue, but it's just... What do you like? I mean, I know we're not surprised that they got fired, they got let go, but like, what does it really mean? Like for them to get fired at this point in the season? I understand why McDaniels got fired last year. Let's just compare it to that, right? Different positions. I know we all know McDaniels was the head coach, but obviously when he got fired in the middle of the season, we all knew what it meant. Mark Davis wanted to be competitive and see if the Raiders can make a run and make the playoffs. If it was AP making the call this time around where he fired his OC, he's trying to win. And I think he feels a little bit of pressure to win now. And it could possibly mean that, he might be on a hot seat. Like at first, I'm like, hey, you know what? You got to give a coach a year. You got to give him time. But then the first sign of me kind of questioning if he was going to come back was Tom Brady. And I'm like, I don't know. Tom Brady's going to come in the building and he's going to be talking to Mark Davis. And Mark Davis, he changes his mind as quickly as the weather changes. You know what I mean? He's the same guy that was like, use your head when a fan was screaming at him to fire Josh McDaniels. And then a few weeks later, he fires Josh McDaniels. He was gone. Recently this season, we're at the owners meeting. He talks about AP and Telesco. He says we need to give him time. We got to be patient. This is a process. But then you got Tom Brady enters the building, and Tom Brady is going to be like, you know what? Hey, look, this guy's not good. He could easily just be like, this guy's not good enough. Yada yada yada. And the nation, I'm not gonna lie, like some fans have turned on AP too as well. So
more than some.
It's a lot, man. People questioning the game management, but if anything, I mean, that's not really on him too. He's hired somebody to do it for him.
Yeah,
I felt like he's hired a lot of people. He's hired a lot. He's hired a lot of people that have former this and experience, but the one guy that doesn't really have experience is that game management guy. And I'm like, if he doesn't have experience, doesn't it make sense for you to just do it? Because I know you got to delegate your responsibilities as a head coach, and you don't want to you want to oversee things. You don't want to just try to control every little thing. But at this point, man, he should have been fired too. Not gonna lie. But what's your take on the firings and what it means moving forward?
So, man, I think you asked me, first of all, it pissed me off because you would ask me like on Friday about it. And I was like, oh man, they ain't going nowhere. Why you gonna fire him? He's gonna get fired during the bye week. Ain't nobody about to get fired during the bye week. Why they gonna do it this week 9? Why they fire somebody now? Then they turn around and fire these fools. Like, why? First of all, it's like if you knew this was an issue early on, Like, why, if you were really trying to win this year, you just get rid of him earlier on. Like people are, oh, it's the bye week, and that's what, like, bro. But at this point, it's too late for you to do anything this season unless you run the gauntlet and win 8 straight games. Like, you're not, and even then, you probably not going to the playoffs. So, like, what's the point of like firing these guys now in hopes of winning some games now, when you really shouldn't be, like, really your focus shouldn't be on winning. It should be on talent identification, developing young players, getting these young players valuable game reps, which builds your depth out. So in the future, when you have injuries, you have young guys that can come into the game, and if they need to play a game, or if they need to play a quarter or two, or a game or two, they're well prepared for those situations. We shouldn't, like, what's the point of winning these games right now? Like, what, for our fifis to make us, like, feel warm and fuzzy inside? Like, why? I don't give a damn about feeling good now. I want playoff football later on in the year, and we're not going to get that this year. And the only way we're going to get that is if we improve the quarterback position. And the best way to improve the quarterback position is through the draft. And most successful quarterbacks come in the first round, generally high in the first round. So, like, we need to do what we need to do to get a quarterback, and trying to win some stupid games late in the year that's not helping you. So we should have just kept Luke Getsy, kept Rich Scangarello, kept James Cregg through the end of the year, and at the end of the year, get rid of them, bring in a new system, bring in a new guy, do whatever you need to do at that point. Like, doing this now, it makes no sense, especially if you're not going to replace him with a guy that's going to be long-term in the job, because I don't see Scott Turner being our long-term solution at offensive coordinator. So, like what are we really doing here? We're shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. This ship is sinking. So, this move really does nothing to help us. And the only thing it could possibly do is maybe hurt our draft position if we start winning games. So I didn't see the point in it. And what it also told me is that this reeks to high heaven of desperation. If you would have asked me last week my thoughts on AP coming back, I would have said 75, 80%, maybe even higher than that. But now I'm in like the 50s in terms of 50%, like damn near coin flip proposition whether or not Antonio Pierce comes back. And that was before the Norv Turner hire. Now with the Norv Turner hires, I might be less than 50, to be honest with you, because like it's these are moves for the sake of making moves. Like I don't know if you watch boxing, right? Like one of the ways that you're scored on in a boxing round is effective aggression, right? So not like your ability to throw punches and have them, have an effect on the other guy, not just throwing punches to throw punches. And right now it seems like we're just throwing punches to throw punches. We're just like socking air. Like, you're not doing anything. You're just making moves to make moves so you can say, look what I'm doing. Like, but it's like, what's the end goal? What's the strategy? Like, it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason for what we're doing, but desperately trying to win games. And for what? Why are we desperately trying to win games? If for nothing else, for AP to keep his job, which is why I think he's doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Just speaking of the NFL draft order for the Raiders, man, let's go take a look at Tankathon. It's a website where you could see the current draft order of the upcoming 2025 NFL draft. Go ahead and share this real quick. So as you can see, you could just see the records without seeing the teams right now, but I'm going to show this in a second. A lot of bad teams that are tied. Let's see right here. Let's go. Let's take a look here. So the Raiders, as you can see, they're tied at 2-7 with pretty much, that's a 7-way tie for the number one pick. So, hey, man, if Raiders win a game, man, you see how close it is right now. With New England right now, I guess it's based off strength of schedule. New England currently has the number one pick. But, right now Vegas they're slated to pick at number 6, which technically, they can trade up. But I'm not sure if I trust Telesco, who's not really a guy that's been known to do that in his career, his long, GM career. He's never really been a guy that traded up too much.
At all.
So why don't we make it easier if the Raiders just, let the young guys play, just let the young guys play, make it a season about evaluation, because right now it's not a good football team. If you're going to lose right, and get that number one pick, man. Get that number one pick, or get in the top 3 at the very least. Because if New England gets number one pick, they're definitely not going to be picking a quarterback. But that being said, I could definitely see them like trading down for sure. Yeah. That could, so yeah, I guess, the goal is to get that number one, to be honest with you. I'm keep it real with y'all. But you spoke about the replacements, the possible replacements, or actually we kind of know. It's official. Let me go put that here on the screen. And Scott Turner and his pops, Norv Turner, former head coach of the Raiders, former offensive coordinator, the architect of those Dallas Cowboys teams as far as that. He was offensive coordinator, led the way, which gave him so many opportunities. I think he had so much success as an OC. Norv Turner before McDaniels was a classic example of great OC, but not a good head coach. But he kept getting opportunities because he was such a good OC. But after a while he got old, and I'm sure I think his most recent years of coaching might have been back in 2019 for the Panthers, and I believe their offense wasn't really that good at that time. So good. At this point, and I don't think they're going to bring him in as a offensive coordinator. I think Scott Turner is going to take that role, who's already on the staff. And, Norv is just going to be there, his son, be there as an advisor, which I'm not really mad at, but it just becomes kind of funny that you got all these former head coaches. You got too many cooks in the kitchen. You got everybody that has a say and an input, and this is how we should do it, because I used to coach back. And maybe that's kind of held AP back a little bit. It might have affected AP. He's delegated so much of the responsibilities of being a head coach that it's kind of gotten away from him. I mean, I think that a perfect example is the game management. Everybody's talking about how AP doesn't know how to manage the game and this, that, and the third, but he has someone else doing that for him. And I think that's that someone else is a guy that's the first year of doing that. And I just think that if it's not going to be someone of experience to manage the football game, then you should do it. I think AP should do it. Get it out the way. I think he should have been one of the guys fired. I think he should be fired. And I think if anything, if he's looking past this season and he's thinking that he's going to come back next year, then I would try to use this time as to get better at managing the football game and making the right decisions during the end of half, conserving time and all that good stuff. I think that's a big weakness on this team. And at this point, it's becoming kind of dysfunctional. It's just weird every time it gets towards the end of half or end of games, and how we handle the clock and the timeouts it's terrible. But how do you feel about Scott Turner? I mean, I think his days with the Commanders as an OC, I think it was the last time he was OC, I think back in 2020 to 2022, he wasn't really that good. It was a lot of he kind of had a dink and dunk offense, which is funny because his pops was that he was a deep air, you know what I mean? Right. Throw it down the field. You can see why Al Davis hired him as a head coach, because he believed in his philosophy as far as throwing it downfield. And Scott Turner, for what he's shown, is more of a short passing guy. Maybe that's why he's on the staff, maybe to help him out there, and maybe help him out with his weaknesses as far as throwing it downfield. But how do you feel about the hire?
Yeah, man, it's pointless, man. He wasn't good with the Commanders. He was here last year. He was our passing game coordinator last year. We sucked passing the ball last year. Now he's taking over as offensive coordinator now. So, like I said, I mean, I don't know how much is going to change. His time with the Commanders, he was bad, you know, but at least he was consistent, right?
Right.
They were 25th his first year in an offensive ranking, 23rd his second year, then 24th his last year. So he stayed
Yeah.
right in that range, like right near the bottom of the league. I don't see him improving things too much here. It's not like he's some like super creative offensive guy. I just don't see it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, we bring in Norv Turner to do like what? Be an advisor? Like he couldn't advise you in an informed, like that's your dad. Like he couldn't give you advice like over the like what's
Over
the
the
point?
phone?
It's like this. It's like the homie hookup, but type situation. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I got a job, bro. I'm gonna get you in here too. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need the offensive assistant? That's your father. Like,
Yeah.
you think he would like do that for free, right? That's your dad. He wants to see you do well. So it just doesn't make too much sense. I don't know. Like, and he's Norv is 72 years old, so not like he's gonna be like super hands on and like in like grinding film all the time. You know, like he's an old man. Like, you know, his
Right.
last time he coached, as you said, was with the Panthers. I think it was a 2018, 2019 season. So he's been away from the game for a little while, you know. And I don't want to say the game has passed him by, but his game has passed him by, right? This ain't quite, you know, bed and breakfast. But motherfucker, I smell some waffles. I smell some bacon and eggs, some fresh squeezed orange juice. Like this is ridiculous, bro. This is ridiculous. Why do we keep doing this same stupid stuff? It's like only we do some weird stuff like this. Like why? And for what point? Like I said, why are we trying to win games? Like, maybe we're not trying to win games. Maybe we're doing this so we look like we're trying to do something, but we're purposely losing. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong.
Hey, it's funny that bed and breakfast. I don't know how many people will catch that. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody's gonna catch that, but yeah, man. It's at this point. I don't know what it's a desperate move. At this point, I think AP he wants to win. He wants to solidify his spot where he could be like, hey, look, I made it the best. If the Raiders don't win another game, on top of the Tom Brady effect, and you know, I'm sure Davis is going to talk to Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's going to chime in.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to look good for AP to come back next season. And I mentioned it last week when we're on our What's Real, What's Not. I'm like, you know, as much as I think that it makes sense to continue to have your head coach after the first year, like, come on, we have to have some type of stability. Like, you know, Rome wasn't built in one day. I mean, if you look at this team and if you're being really honest, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win a lot of games. Is it possible to win games? Yes. But that means that every part of your team is damn near elite or close to it. You know what I mean? Whether it's the defense, special teams, there's something really good about the team overall for them to succeed without having a quarterback or having an average QB, which we don't have. We don't have none of the above, and it equals being a bad football team. So AP, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him. Let's chime in and see what the chat is talking about real quick. Steve says that is what is so confusing to me. Either you want to tank and keep or fire AP, or you want to test AP if he can win. This all leads to us not getting number one. Hey. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, and hey, look, this is the bottom line with the Raiders and why they're not good and haven't been good for a while is that it's not just the head coaches, it's not just the missed draft picks, it's the overall direction of the franchise, which is being led directly by Mark Davis, who's listening to so many different people, and you know, some people will be like, well, he's trying. But at what point do you hold him accountable for the Raiders' dysfunction and just losing overall, man? It's. I know he was given the keys to the franchise back in 2011, so it's been over 10 years. And how many playoff appearances? Twice. And you know, a whole lot of losses, a whole lot of different head coaches. You look at all the great NFL franchises. You can almost count in one hand how many coaches they've had. You know, great example is, it's Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the type of stability and drafting and all that. The Raiders need to find a way to get to that. That's the goal. But in order to get to that, they need to have someone that can be a buffer between the owner and the GM and the coach. Like let that football guy, and hopefully everybody, we're crossing our fingers that that's Tom Brady. That's what we're hoping. Hopefully Tom Brady could be the guy that could just be like, hey, slow down, Mark. This is what we're gonna do. Yeah. This is what's best. I know we're losing, but we gotta see it through. But we'll see, man. This is interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not 100% sure what's gonna happen at the end of the season, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's looking too good for AP, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. So we got people pulling up. Billy, man, appreciate you coming through.
Shout out to Billy.
Pizzle in the building, man. Appreciate you.
Salute, man.
Ford Dog says Mark Davis has mandated to let's go draft a quarterback, so it doesn't matter if he's never moved up before he will this year. Hey, you know what?
That last year though.
Yeah, but I will say this. See, that's the thing. That's why Mark, like, that's why it's tough with Mark. It's like he's just too close to it, man. He's just way too close. Because if anything, if he was really thinking long term, he would have fired McDaniels after the season.
I said that.
That's why I was so surprised that McDaniels got fired. Not that he got fired, more so when he got fired. It's because the Raiders were obviously losing. They're going downhill. I get that it wasn't working out, but at the end of the day, AP, I guess was the benefit. We were able to find our head coach through that time. But if AP gets fired after this year, that means that he should have never fired McDaniels in the middle of the season. He should have let him coach through the season and then fired him after the season. The Raiders will probably have a top 5 pick, and then we'd be talking about how exciting it is to watch Jaden Daniels every Sunday.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. We need that buffer, and hopefully it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady. He doesn't have an official position. He's the minority with the team, but you see the respect that Mark has for Tom Brady. Like literally, when he went into the building, standing ovation, everybody just clapping. I'm sure everybody was like, "You better clap." When he gets here, I wonder, did everybody just see Tom Brady and just start clapping, or was it hey, when Tom Brady comes in, you gonna have to clap. If you ain't clapping, you getting fired.
That was staged like a mug. That was staged like when everybody, when you're doing a surprise party, everybody hiding in the dark, surprise! That's what it was.
Right.
It was staged, bro. It was so staged. But the problem I have is that, there are times when you have to be aggressive and times where you need to let things play out. And Mark Davis has potential to be a great owner. Because he actually cares about the team. He's not this is not just some tax write-off for him. He's invested. He's invested time and money to make the Raiders a very attractive destination. If you notice, the Raiders, as soon as free agency started, the Raiders completely fell off the effing NFL map, right? Prior to the inception of free agency in the NFL, the Raiders by percentage were the of regular season games. I think regular season and postseason, but for sure about regular season games, I think they were the most winningest franchise in North American sports, right? By win percentage. And as soon as free agency hit, they completely fell off the map. Part of that is because the facilities in Oakland were so bad, nobody wanted to come here willingly unless you were paying them an exorbitant salary, right? You had to pay them tons of money just to come here.
Right.
So we fixed that. We're in a destination city with one of the best stadiums in the NFL, with some of the best facilities and best trainers around. Like we get hyped, like just by vote of the players, we were like top of the top in that, right? But we still can't fix like the football personnel side of things. We're still making these terrible football personnel decisions. And he keeps trying to give it to people, but he either doesn't give them long enough to do the job, or he's just hiring bad people. Like the Steelers since the 60s, like since black people first got the right to vote. Like that's how long it's been. The Steelers had 3 coaches, right? It was Chuck Noll, it was what's the guy's name? Bill Cowher, and as Mike Tomlin. 3 since the 60s. We've had 3 like the past 5 years. So it's like something has to change. We gotta, for once, we have to hire a guy, stick with him through the initial pains, and see it through, because we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity.
But you know what's funny though? It's funny that Mark was willing to do that with John Gruden, because you remember John, with all the hype coming in, you trade away Khalil Mack right before the season starts. You trade away Amari Cooper during the season. Yeah. I think at that year they went ahead and signed Jordy Nelson. Yada yada. That didn't really pan out. Like, Jordy Nelson was past his prime, or he was getting older. He was done by that time. And the Raiders go 4-12 first year. Second year, I think it was a little bit better. I think they went 7-9, 8-8 possibly.
Yeah, something like that.
But my point is that like
7-9, then 8-8 after that.
But he was willing to give John Gruden time. He was willing to go, and John Gruden didn't hit the ground running. And not to say that John Gruden was able to build a Super Bowl winner with the Raiders. I mean, but he signed a 10-year deal. But we've seen the progression of the team, and it was getting better in certain parts. We also seen the weaknesses too, but that's a whole different conversation. But I'm just saying, like, he gave Gruden time because he trusted him. I'm not sure if he trusts AP. It's the bottom line. You know what I mean? He's coming in. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience. He wants to see something spectacular out of AP. He was able to do it last season by winning some games, and like was able to win despite that offense, which is but this season it hasn't. He's not able to. So far, he's not been able to recapture that same magic he had with the defense dominating and the team. It just felt like the chemistry was good, and I'm not saying that it's off this year, but it just feels it's not the same. And if they win a game, I think I'm gonna cry. And if I see like after the locker room they're smoking cigars, man, that's
bro. I'm slapping everybody, bro.
Disgusting.
I'm slapping everybody with a cigar, bro. Slapping.
Bro, like this is not the time to be. It's all good and fun when you're winning a lot of games and stuff like that. But when you're losing, even if you go 3-13, you win one game or 2 games or 3 games or whatever the case may be, and you're smoking cigars after the game, like in the locker room, it just doesn't look right to me. But man, real quick, man, shout out to my guy. Raiders Smoke in the building, man. He knows how to come through and support, man. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, salute, fellas. Severe and Pharaoh for President MVP, man. Man, I appreciate that, man. Maybe one day. Who knows? Side note, this is a great hire. Certified tank job. Norv so old, he was calling plays when cats were wearing leather helmets, man. Yeah. That's one way to look at it. But no matter what, when you fire the OC, it's basically season over.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. Yeah. It's pretty much done. But I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Let me ask you this. If we start winning games, what would make sense for you to really be satisfied with the Raiders winning? Like, would it to be make the playoffs?
Not even make the playoffs. If we start winning games, what would satisfy me, the only thing that would satisfy me is if we start winning games, it had to be like Desmond Ridder would have to look like he could be our franchise guy. Like that's the only way I'd be okay with winning games. Like he has to be like, okay, dang, this guy can legitimately be your franchise quarterback. And then like, look, we don't have to worry about quarterback no more. We can do the Tom Telesco special and go best player available. But that's not going to happen. Like, what's going to happen? This was what's going to happen, right? We got this bye week. We brought in Scott Turner. We brought in Norv Turner. The Raiders offense, we got the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins aren't known as a good defensive team. The Raiders going to go out there, put up like 38 points, probably lose 38-41 still. But the offense is going to go out there, look great. The people, oh my God, look at this. And then we're going to suck the rest of the damn year. That's exactly what's going to happen. People going to get all excited after that first game and think, oh, we doing something. And then we're going to play a good defense again in the Broncos, go out there and get smacked again. So no, I just don't see the point in making the change. I just don't see the point, man.
Yeah. But then like, yeah, I hear you. I agree, man. It's pointless from a standpoint of like come on, man. We don't have the necessary tools out there to win games, man. We don't. If you don't got a quarterback, and it's like I'm just over here throwing it. Like I'm just saying, like if like you said, if Ritter's the guy somehow, some way, he's playing spectacular football. We go to the playoffs. I wouldn't be mad. I'm like, you know what? Look. Now we have something. Something had to go right. What's going right? And let's continue to build off that. But the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. Slim to none, man.
Got Norv Turner searching a facility right now for Al Davis's projector for the next team meeting. He's like, I need to go over these plays. Where's the projector at?
Man, my guy, man, Smoke with another super chat. He says, question for you both, Shedeur, Ward, or Milroe? I think it's between Shedeur or Ward, but Milroe, I'm kind of trying to stay away from the Anthony Richardson clones. I'm scared, man. We can't. The reason why look, I have no problem. Like, I would love for the Raiders to draft like one of the most athletic guys in the draft and all that, but the way the NFL works these days, is like they're not going to wait around for you to develop at all. So you better come into the game. You better come into the league, at least have some type of pocket, awareness and ability to throw from the pocket. Milroe, I feel like he needs some time to develop, but the talent's there. You know what I mean? And there are certain teams who are good at developing quarterbacks. Green Bay Packers, the Ravens. Lamar Jackson wasn't good right off the gate. Like it took him a couple of seasons. Obviously, we see what he is now. Josh Allen wasn't that quarterback. It took him first couple of years. I don't think he was that good.
In that
year three, everybody was all like, "What are the Bills doing?" You know what I mean? Like they really went after this quarterback. People were questioning the Bills for drafting him that high because he was so raw coming out. Rest is history. That third year, he broke out, and everybody was like, "Oh man," all the PFF guys was like, "Oh well, he's the exception to the rule," and yada yada yada. You know what I mean? They had to talk about how they didn't see that coming, but it is what it is, man. I just think in today's NFL, you got to get the guy that has high enough ceiling, but I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from the Anthony Richardson type. So for me, it's between Shedeur and Ward. It sounds like Shedeur. I don't know if you've seen. Are you seeing some stuff on social media?
Thank you,
God. Every time the Raiders lose,
I can't tell you how many people sent me that. Like, you see this? You see this? You see this? Like,
But who you got, man? Out of Shedeur, Ward, and Milroe?
I got Ward. Ward is my favorite guy. The thing about Milroe is that Milroe could legitimately be like a Josh Allen type, because he just raw physical tools. He probably has the strongest arm out of all of them. He's the most athletic, considered by a considerable amount than all those guys. And he has, from everything I've been told, everything I've read about him, he has a crazy work ethic, works extremely, extremely hard. But he is by far the lowest in terms of being able to read defense in terms of football IQ, like throwing with anticipation, accuracy. Like he's the lowest on the totem pole, like by a considerable margin. So he has a lot to work on, but he has that great work ethic, and he has the tools there to do it, and he has the mentality. So it could be a situation where he turns into something great, but I'm not taking that risk. I think Shedeur is probably the most pro ready, but Shedeur has physical limitations. He's a little bit he's like slighter than Cam Ward. Arm isn't as strong. I don't think he's as athletic as Cam Ward is either. So but he's a guy you can plug and play. I think he has the highest IQ of all the guys, and he has experience dealing with like a bad offensive line. Then you got Cam Ward, who I think is like kind of a mixture of both guys. Where Cam Ward, he has a better arm than Shedeur. Like I said, in my opinion, he's a little bit more athletic than Shedeur, a little bit sturdier than Shedeur. He's putting up crazy video game numbers, but he also has the like he has one or two throws every game where it's like, yo, bro, like what were you doing right there? Like what were you thinking? But he has the ultimate faith in his arm talent. So that's my guy. But I wouldn't be mad with Shedeur. I mean, either guy I would be okay with. But right now I have Cam like slightly ahead of Shedeur.
Nah, I hear you. I mean, I think the thing about Milroe, from how you were talking about him, but just from what I've seen and heard too as well, is it's just that with those types of quarterbacks, they have to go to the right situation, the team that has the most patience. You know what I mean? That the team that has the most like stability and like the Raiders. Just looking at their recent history, they haven't been the most stable team. So do you really want to have that type of quarterback who needs time to develop, who needs to stay in a system, who needs to learn how to read defenses? Do you want him to deal with different OCs or different, coaching staffs, and then having to like restart? It's gonna be tough. But man, great question. It's a good question to have, man. We don't have a quarterback, so let's get it going, man. We're gonna have plenty of time to break down what quarterback to get. I mean, it's between now and the draft, man. It's gonna be who are the Raiders gonna get. Who the Raiders going to get, man? So we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's not waste any time, man. Let's get into it. It's flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Hey, man. So in this case, man, personal foul. Yeah, personal foul on the offense for sure. Number 77 though. Number 77 getting destroyed. You know what I mean? I might have to just be prepared to say this real quick.
Pause.
Destroy. But look, at the end of the day, like pass rusher here, Hendrickson, literally, man, he just annihilated them. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the screen for y'all to see, man. Flag on the play, man. This is bad. This probably would shut down all the talk about Mumford. Playing left tackle. Let's see here. All right, let's take a look and see what. Let's see. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me move this back here. Boom. You see that right there? Just ran him over. Whew. Man, it's not fair. We all know number 91 on that defense is pretty solid. He's a good player on that defense.
He's a good player.
But for you to be embarrassed like that, man, and you have that on film.
Yeah.
Oh man. But hey, look, swing tackle. He could be a solid swing tackle. But
he got swung all right. He sure got swung.
Definitely flag on a play on Mumford, and if anything, he should only play right tackle. But even then, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we might have to look for another guy.
Thayer Mumford looked more comfortable at wide receiver than he did at left tackle. To be honest with you,
man.
That was bad. And that's the thing though, because he struggles with speed, and that's always been his thing. That's what I've been saying. Like people point to that one good game he had against Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack isn't really a speed rusher. He's more of a power rusher. Has some good hand usage.
Right.
And Thayer Munford, he can hold up well against those guys. He don't have to move his feet a lot. He can kind of anchor down, use his power. But as soon as Trey Hendrickson looked like he was gonna hit him with a speed move, it got Thayer Munford out of position. And as soon as he was out of position, he just hit him with that speed to power and ran right through him. So, we saw Cal Van Noy kill him when we played the Ravens. Cal Van Noy had 2 sacks, right? How many of them? Cal Van Noy probably got 2 sacks on the year, and they were both on Thayer Munford. So he's always struggled with guys who are a little bit speedier, and he's not an NFL left tackle.
Right. And James Cregg was like, influence. Well, I won't say infamously, but he did say that, a lot of people say this, Munford is better on the left side than he is the right side. But when you see that,
now we know why James Cregg is fired. Now we know why James Cregg got no job.
I think we know why James Cregg is fired for sure. Yeah. Man, but definitely flag on a play, man. Hey, the Raiders lose in a bad way. Pretty much the game was pretty much over before it started. I think it was tied at some point, but then after a while, like, it's the Bengals just couldn't be stopped. Like, they just kept scoring, and Raiders couldn't really stick with them when it was all said and done. But yeah, man, definitely flag on a play. But we got one more. We got a few flags on a play, man. We're not done yet. This one, shout out to Severe. This one is from the Bears, DJ Moore. And he kind of his whole reaction during the game really was like lackadaisical, to say at least. Like, he just seemed like he was out of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on the screen. Y'all could just tell me. Let's see here, flag. Let's see. All right. I don't know if y'all can see it here.
You probably gotta move the flag. Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna see. So you caught this on real time?
No, I caught it on social media. Somebody saw it, but I saw it. I watched it. Like, it's DJ Moore at the top of the screen on the sideline. The play's still going on. Like, if you hear the sound, like, the announcer is like the most excited. Like, oh my God, this is Jaden Williams 2.0 or Jaden Daniels 2.0. Caleb Williams and
wants to know what they need from him. Play clock winding down. They get the snap off. Williams trying to line up a receiver, and Williams gets away off the spin move. Williams is still alive. This feels like Jaden Daniels last week. Williams guns it. Incomplete, looking for Keenan Allen. Wants to know what they need from him. Play clock winding down. They get the snap off. Williams.
So he literally walks off the field. Y'all can see it on the top of the screen. He walks off the field, and the play's not over
at all.
So he comes back. He looks like he's limping. He just walks off the field, and the play's still going. You can see him on the top of the screen. He's like literally at the bench. So this is one. This is just one, and then the next one is him. This is at near the end of the game, and it looks like his quarterback gets hurt, Caleb Williams, and the way he kind of like just man, you caught this, man. This is crazy. Let me I had no clue.
Work.
So let me put this on here. So it's at the end of the game. Let's see. You see the yeah, you can tell like the chemistry might be off with Caleb Williams, man. It just seemed like it's off real quick. I mean, let me see. And he was hurt, right? He was
hurt. Yeah, he had to get helped up. Yeah,
you had to get helped up. It's near the end of the game. 18 seconds left in the game. You know, some people might say, "Yeah, you're looking too much into it." You know, it's the end of the game. They're probably frustrated they're losing 29-9. But yeah, you could tell like there. I don't know how the relation. I mean, what did you take from it?
Yeah, bro. Like, first of all, like, you know, he was on the field at that time, so he saw a dude get hurt. Like, not like he walked over there to help him or like, or check on him. You good? You okay? Or anything like that. Like, he like nothing, none of that. And the way he's like, like everybody knows what that means, man. Everybody been in high school or anywhere. You walking past somebody, like you don't move. You like, hey, it's like, like we run into each other. Like I'm not moving, you're not moving. Like that's just a sign of like, bro, I don't respect you. So like I think it's a frosty relationship between the two guys. And then even the way Caleb Williams kind of low-key reacting right there to, I don't know if that was Rome or who that was, but it looks like he seems like a sore loser, bro. Like he's been kind of that way since he was in college. And I'm sure, like the losing is kind of wearing on DJ Moore. He's not putting up the same numbers he was putting up last year. Ironically, under Luke Getsy, which is ironic, right? They hired some new offensive coordinator, brought in Caleb Williams, and DJ Moore's actually having a worse season than he did under Justin Fields and Luke Getsy, who are two, supposed to be two worst at their position. So it's just interesting. But I don't think DJ Moore is long for Carolina, not for Carolina, for Chicago. I think probably by the end of the season, if they don't move him proactively, he's gonna probably ask for a trade.
Yeah, especially if he's not getting along with the quarterback. Like he's probably gonna want to get out as soon as he can. But another flag on a play. We kind of talked about the Norv Turner. I know you weren't big on that, but I was going to add this real quick, man. The Chiefs, man. They just keep getting away with these penalties. And this one, I got to call it a flag, man, real quick, man. I'm going to go ahead and share this on the screen, man. Y'all let me know. I mean, I think y'all going to agree with me. This is we hate the Chiefs over here, so let's go ahead and play this real quick. And you can see.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Like the ball snap, you see the left tackle. He's literally moving, and you know what? This dates back to last season. I feel like they were getting away with that last season. I think what was it?
It's Juwan Taylor.
It's Juwan Taylor. I think this was.
That's the dude that be holding everybody too. He's getting away with it.
And they didn't call. And this was a touchdown play. It's a touchdown play against the Bucks. I think. I think what's his name might have scored, the tight end. Kelsey might have scored here. But, like, look, hey, man, the refs, the NFL, man, the Chiefs, man, I just hate them so much. I got to call this. This is definitely a flag on the play for sure. But they didn't call it. But I think we actually have a live picture of one of the refs during that game real quick. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen, man, real quick. Let's see. He's a known ref. He does all the Chiefs game. I think Severe might have. I think you recognized him before. You've seen him before. Here we go. Like, might as well, man. Hey, man, might as well just dress in red and white, man. If they gonna call like that for the Chiefs every game. Man, definitely flag on a play, but we appreciate everybody coming through.
What's crazy is that during Halloween, I saw somebody, their costume is like one person was it's like a little kid was dressed up as a Chiefs player, like their dad was like a referee, and the kid like got up and gave the referee some money and put it in their pocket.
Oh yeah. I seen it. That's funny. That's funny,
clean.
Man.
That's
funny, man.
Clean.
Hey, man, that is funny. You're right. It was with Panthers with Cam, Swift Gigs. Man, I got to catch up with the chat. Get rid of everyone except Crosby. Damn. Like, there's a few players. Hold up. Except Crosby. So you gonna trade away the young phenom at tight end?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Or the potential future number one corner and Jacorian, or Christian Wilkins. You know he hurt.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I feel what my man is saying though. I feel what he's saying though.
Yeah, he's basically saying just get rid of everybody except the good players. Yeah. We'll give you benefit of the doubt. I think that's. Dirk says, please fire AP. Please fire AP. He's literally he's begging, man. He just like, come on, man. We got to fire this guy.
And that's why we're in our hamster wheel now. And then we get a new guy in here. He struggles his first year. We're gonna fire him to his first year. Like, it's just what happens.
Yeah, man.
When does it stop?
Right. And Anthony Prevention on the building says you look at the QB decisions, the O looking like dog shit, and good coaches available hurts his chances to come back.
Yeah.
You talking about AP?
Oh, Antonio Pierce, yeah.
You talking about Antonio Pierce? Yeah.
Yeah.
Assassin Creed says for AP at the end of the season, Big Mama warning up those vocal cords.
The fat lady about to be singing.
That's funny. King 85 says, why are the Raiders so stuck in the past? Only retreads, nothing cutting edge. Norv Turner, really? I mean, if you think about it, like, at this point, do you want to get like a young phenom at OC with a team that doesn't have a quarterback?
Yeah.
I think you probably want it after the season. And to be honest with you, if you want to give AP benefit of the doubt, who's his first choice? This is all documented. We all seen what happened. We all seen the offseason happen. Like, everybody can be like critical about getting Getsy, but Getsy was the backup option. It was a desperate move after the last minute. Kingsbury changed his mind last minute and declining the offer from the Raiders, where they literally, it was official. Like the agents called in and say, like they're calling and saying it was official. And Kingsbury, he doesn't look too bad at OC for the Commanders with the young QB that he has with Jane Daniels. And I'm sure for him it was a great decision, but that was his first option. So you have to give AP a little benefit of doubt. Getsy was just a guy that they kind of settled for. It is what it is. And then you got to think about the quarterback situation too as well. It's not really good. Norv Turner, Norv is not going to be the offensive coordinator. I think he's just going to be there just to chime in with his son, like, hey, look, like, because his son is going to be the play caller. His son is going to be the offensive coordinator. Did they really have to make that move or do the move? It didn't really make any sense because it's not like this is Scott Turner. This is his first time being an OC. He was offensive coordinator for the Commanders for a couple seasons, so he's been there, done that. But he got his pops in there, man. So family's gonna support family. So it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
They gonna try to get their family in the building for sure. Will says the diddler escaped. Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. Thanks for Devontae Adams. Hey, you saying that now?
They won one game.
Oh,
with Devontae?
You know what's a flag on a play too? This should have been a flag on a play too. I don't know if y'all seen recently. Devontae Adams was on the Up and Adams show. His little weekly appearance. He's back at it on his weekly appearance. He was on there today.
It's not that they won a game.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
exactly.
I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
So he was on there, and guess what he was saying? The question came up. The question came up about the interim coach, Jeff Ulbrich. He's like, oh, I love Jeff Ulbrich. I want him to come back and yada yada yada. Come on, bro. Been there, done that, man. Been there, done that. Said the same thing about AP, but was the first one to be like, I want to leave.
Yep.
So, don't take look. If you a Jets fan, don't take anything this dude says seriously. Be honest with you. Don't take anything he says seriously. But yeah, he was on the Up Adams show saying, literally deja vu. It was like, what the hell? Like, didn't you do that with AP, and now you saying it with another interim coach? Like, you need to stop, man. Someone need to stop this man and just say no comment. Like, hey, he's a good coach. There's a better way of saying it, but he made it seem like, man, I want this guy to come back. Yada yada yada. I mean,
it's like when you be trying to, you can't be running like the same game on multiple chicks. Like they gonna you're running that same playbook. Like you got to switch it up. Like, bro, it's like we've seen it already. We've seen this already, bro. Like we try to tell Saints fans about Carr. Like, oh, he's with the Raiders. That's y'all. And then look what happened. Now look what happened. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. No, facts. We the people said Scott Turner is lit. He should have been OC since day one. Yeah, I mean, we thought that was going to be the case. I'm not sure if he's going to be good, but I thought he was going to be OC last season. So I was kind of caught off guard with the hire when the QB coach last season was named the OC. And even the wide receiver coach,
Edgar Bennett.
Yeah, I thought he would have been like, a possible candidate for that OC job, but they went with Scott Turner.
Edgar Bennett's never called plays. Well, neither had Bill Hardegree, so you never know. But that's the thing, though. We had Scott Turner on it. Like, this is what makes this, bro. Like, we had Scott Turner on the staff last year. All right, and we had some of the worst quarterback play we've ever seen in our lives between Jimmy G and Brian Hoyer, and then Aiden O'Connell's first game. And then when AP gets the job, like he decides to hire the quarterback's coach, the guy that's in charge of making the quarterbacks, like supposed to be in charge of helping them be good. And this is the guy you hired. And he had no experience calling plays. When you had Scott Turner there, as a passing game coordinator. So if you didn't think he was good enough, like then, like why would you think he's good? Like I said, maybe he doesn't think he's good enough. Maybe this is just a long con, and they're actually really just tanking, and they just don't want to make it look like they're tanking.
Look, I said it. Look, now that we've seen it unfold. And I try to be positive before the season started. I'm like, you know what? I mean, I was disgusted by Minshew and AOC being the quarterback room. I was like, their ceiling was literally at, like, they really are. I mean, I didn't see Minshew getting any better. Like, he is what he is as a quarterback. He's a journeyman backup QB, and we're expecting him to be, Rich Gannon, which he never showed anything like that. I mean, last season was his best season. He had 15 touchdowns and nine interceptions, like
something like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not spectacular. And then, but we're hoping that the supporting cast was able to elevate him. That wasn't the case. We didn't have a run game. The offensive line was trash to start the season. And then you got AOC. We all know his limitations. Bad O-line and his game don't match. And now we're here, man. I just think that, like, at the end of the day, like, the expectations is what really hurts Raider Nation, to be honest, because we thought, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. We're gonna go to the playoffs, and we kind of fed into that a little bit. We try to stay positive, but the reality is we didn't have the guy on the team. Like, and the fact that they went into the season with those quarterbacks should tell you everything that you need to know. Like, the way they're everything you need to know. Like, they went into the season with that quarterbacks, meaning that they were like, hey, we're going to get our quarterback in 2025. Oh, you're going to get your quarterback in 2025? How are you going to do that? By tanking. You're not going to win a lot of games. You're not going to win a lot of games. And you know what? To be fair, maybe AP wasn't in on that conversation.
But that makes it worse. like that, I just don't understand what these dudes are doing, bro. I don't understand, bro. Like, and did I mention that Norv Turner is 72 years old? Like, did I bring that up earlier? Because he's 72 years old. Like, what is like, dog? He's 72 years. It's like, bro, what do we do? Like, what are we doing here?
You know what it is.
And what's crazy is that I want to say last night. It was last night. Yeah. Like, I saw it. It was speculated because somebody sent it to me. Like, oh, the Raiders they're thinking about bringing on Norv Turner. I was like, bro, this is a joke. I was like, bro, if the Raiders do this, I'm cool. I'm done. I'm signing off. I'm cool. I'm like, wash my hands of it. Like, y'all can have it, bro. And I thought it was just like somebody trolling on the internet. Like, oh, like, what would be hilarious? Would be funny if the Raiders hired Norv Turner to help with them offense. I was like, bro, these dudes is trolling. Like, they playing right now. Like, right. Their Raiders are going to do that. And then I wake up and I see this shit is official. And I'm like, what? Well, like, what are they like? What's the purpose? Like, why? Why bring anybody in at all, bro? Like you said, Scott Turner, he's a grown ass man. You need your daddy to hold your hand across the street. Like what the hell, bro? You been like this don't make no sense, man. It's like it just doesn't make no sense, bro. It just doesn't make no sense, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but I'm not I'm like, it is what it is. Like I said, like my whole attitude right now is like season's over. Season's been over. There's nothing is really going to change the outcome of. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that we win a few games to not get the number 1 or top 3 pick. It makes it tougher to get the quarterback that would fit in with this team, that next OC or next head coach, or however way you want to look at how this situation is going to play out. That's the only thing that I'm concerned of. And I'm going to be watching games to watch the young players. I want to see who develops. I want to see who's going to be the guy that can easily, might be able to take the next steps. But and the offensive line, hey, shout out. We don't want to be all negative, but offensive line look good. I like how not everybody. We just seen Mumford just get destroyed, but JPJ look he's gonna be the center. He ain't losing that spot. Like he got that spot held down. Yeah. And the impact of him going to center made other guys better. Made Cody Whitehair look better. I don't know if I was tripping, but it made him look better.
Nah, facts.
Out there. But yeah, man, I think that's
Mumford was the weakest link. Like Mumford was the weakest link. Mumford was the one that was getting out there getting cooked.
Yeah, facts. Steve says, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why, but something tells me that Telesco might draft Getsy in the first and trade up for Dart. I don't know why. Raiders traumatize me.
No, if we draft a running back in the first round, let me tell you, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Getsy though. Getsy, he had a crazy start to the season, but it's just I get you. It's just we need a quarterback, man. We need a quarterback, and well, if we're in a situation where like the guys get taken up, that's a whole different conversation. It's like, damn, we failed again to not get our quarterback or trade up, But is there? Do you see Getsy as a first round running back? Is he a guy like that can get drafted in the first round?
Do I think he's going to get drafted in the first round? Yes. Would I draft him in the first round? Hell no.
What range would you think he would be drafted in? Because in recent history, we've seen that running back from Falcons and the running back from and the Lions too.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Get drafted like at the top 10, right? Like I think, or damn near.
I think Bijan got drafted top 10. I don't think Jahmyr got drafted top 10. I want to say he was probably like top 15-ish, if I recall correctly, but I don't think he was top 10.
He went early. He went early.
He went earlier than I expected. I expected him to be like a late first round pick. I expected because. Yeah, I had him and Zach Charbonnet. It was like neck and neck for my RB2. Everybody had a Bijan RB1. He was like, best player in the draft, regardless of position type guy that year. Only reason he wasn't going number one overall is because he's running back. But Jahmyr he's a guy that's he's a extremely dangerous weapon just because of his speed. Like Genty's not a burner like that. Not really a great pass catcher. And then he has like and he's like he's not a huge running back, and he has so many like carries on his body, like so many carries. Like he done took a beat. Like they running that dude into the ground in college. So like, he's not coming to the NFL like with fresh legs. Remember that was one of the things that kind of attracted the Raiders to Josh Jacobs is that what they felt he was a talent. But he also didn't take a beating in college, so they felt that, hey, there was a lot of tread left in those tires.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we saw something like, we saw Trent Richardson, who was a guy that got ran into the ground in college. He struggled in the NFL. Only guy that kind of
but Trent Richardson he struggled for different reasons. This wasn't because he had tread a lot.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
He had no vision.
It wasn't all that.
He was
It
trash.
wasn't all that. But generally those guys that take that beat like that in college, like they don't have long pro careers. And like the exception to that rule is Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry is like 6'5", 250 pounds. So I was like, that
crazy,
beating on that
crazy speed too for that size too.
Yeah, for that size, like just a crazy athlete. Like, we saw this. Like we saw Derrick Henry been carrying the ball like that since high school, bro. Like his high school coach was trying to kill him. Like I think his high school coach was literally trying to kill him because he dude had like 1,000 carries in high school. It was ridiculous.
Right. So how about all right? I'm gonna throw some running backs. Did Maurice Jones-Drew carry the ball a lot in college?
He did. He had a lot of carries.
And I know these guys are like, I'm naming like future Hall of Famers, just great running backs who had great careers. Maurice Jones-Drew with the Jaguars. Adrian Peterson have a lot of carries. You see what I'm saying? But obviously exceptions to rule. Marshawn, did Marshawn have a lot of carries? At Cal?
I don't remember. But remember Marshawn struggled early though. Remember the Bills traded him. They thought he was trash. He had like a solid first year. Then he came out the second year, was terrible. They got rid of him.
But the Bills sucked though. The Bills sucked.
They got rid of him, but they didn't think he was gonna be no good. So he had to get to that right situation. MJD, I'm trying to think. Did MJD have a lot of carries? I can't remember that year because MJD he did kick return too. So I don't think he was like all of I don't remember him being like strictly RB1 until like later in his career there. But earlier in his career, he did kick returns. Yeah, but
yeah. I don't know.
But but those are special cases though. Those are special cases. Those are like extremely special cases.
But if Genty's special though, if he's special,
I'm not driving. Like if I don't got no quarterback, bro, I ain't driving. Like you ain't never heard like he's a super. Like you ain't never heard a draft conversation talk about he's a Super Bowl winning running back. Like you've never heard that conversation happen. So it's like
I guess because I'm a little old school, man. I like running backs. Running backs are like one of my favorite positions to watch. I mean, obviously wide receiver, running backs on offense, but it's just, man, Zamir White. Our running back room needs to be upgraded. Like if that's definitely, without a doubt, like it has to be updated. We need to find that guy. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the obviously early rounds of the draft, but maybe we got to look at free agency. Nick Chubb's a free agent. Sign him on a cheap 1-year deal. And then draft a guy later in the draft. If we don't trade all of our picks, hopefully we're able to keep some of them, and then we could draft, some players of need and some depth. Yeah. But
people thought Joe Mixon was washed, and look at him this year under Bobby Slowick.
But Joe Mixon was pretty good, man.
They thought he was washed. They said he was on the way down. That's why he was able to get. That's why Texas got him for so cheap.
I think the Bengals try to make an educated gamble because they have to pay a lot of different positions. They can't pay everybody. Joe Burrow's gonna get paid. They franchise T. Higgins. Most likely he's probably gonna walk, or they're gonna try to sign and trade, whatever the case may be. And Jamar Chase, did he get? I think he got paid, right? He got a big deal.
He got paid. He got paid. Yeah.
Yeah, and if he didn't get paid, he's gonna get paid.
No, Jamar Chase got paid.
Yeah, so he got paid. So it's like they got to pick. And running back is just one of those positions where it's always gonna be the odd man out because teams don't value that position as much. They feel like they can get it cheaper. So it is what it is. But I think, I'm telling you, man, if you're going to draft a young quarterback, man, we got to have some pieces in place. We got a tight end, which is nice. We get an elite tight end.
Elite tight end.
I mean, we could say that because he's literally leading as a rookie. He's leading the league in catches. I believe. I think he still is. I think he still got. In receptions, which is crazy. And then I like Jacoby Myers. I think he's a solid weapon out there. Still think we probably need another outside receiver to complement Jacoby Myers or a true number one. But I don't think we can have everything. If we can't get everything, then maybe have a solid, maybe a speedier option on the outside to complement, Jacoby Myers' skill set. Yeah. But shout out to Austin Avila. He said, shout out to them boys. Just got here. Did Severe already light up Norv Turner? He took it easy. I think he threw some shots here and there. You know what I mean? He didn't go in. He didn't go in.
I didn't full on rant. Rant.
Yeah. But let's get to it, man. We got notable quotables. Let's see if we can move this out the way. We got notable quotables real quick. Actually, Severe, if you can go ahead and give the intro to the first notable quotable real quick.
So we all know Sunday night, Luke Getsy was fired. So AP, he got people up early as hell. Like I think he had like a 8:30, 8:45 ish. Press conference, or I think it was virtual. With the media, and this to believe he's asked by Vic Tafer kind of what went wrong, or what's going wrong offensively, and this was his answer to that question. Hold on 1 second. I'll hit up the chat. MBG said Bobby Slowick hasn't been looking good lately. That's because they lost Nico Collins. They lost Stephon Diggs. And they had already let Noah Brown go. So you got your top receivers out of here. But in the run game, Joe Mixon has still been, one of the better running backs in the league. And he's only making like $9 million. So hella bang for their buck. Been super productive. So I think Bobby Slowick's still doing this thing. What's the Michigan running back with the Rams? Talking about with the Rams? Michigan running back with the Rams. I'm not sure you're talking about. If you're talking about Kyron Williams. Oh, you're talking about Blake Corum with the Rams. So Kyron Williams, their starter. He was with Notre Dame. I see my son, Cool Kev, is in the building. It's past your bedtime, brother.
Damn, man, shots fired. But hey, here's this AP quote. Let me go ahead and play this real quick.
You're not going to win games when you turn the ball over at the rate we've been turning over pretty much 3 times a game, especially 13 in the last 5. I think we've had enough opportunities to punch the ball in and to give our team an opportunity to win games, and we haven't done that. And that's really a compilation of everything. When I go from play caller to the play of our players, to execution, to details, to the confidence that we're playing with, a lot of those things factor into it. Some of it is shocking. I mean, because I think when we left training camp, we felt really good about this group and our team. Obviously, we did get hit with injuries, but that's no excuse because every team in the league is dealing with that as well. But I think offensively, it just wasn't going the way I wanted to go, and it didn't look the way I wanted to look. And when it comes to the coaches, like I said, a lot of that stuff I'm going to look at over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Man, it just sounds like, when you lose, you're trying to explain why you're losing, and it's just like, it's notable. It's notable because AP is just kind of like trying to find a way to excuse some of the losses and stuff like that. But I didn't see I guess he took a little bit of accountability, but he talked about turning the ball over. He seemed pretty shocked when he said that. That was kind of interesting when he said he was shocked by how like the team was playing, because they felt pretty good after training camp, which is crazy to think. I mean, I know he has like a lot of confidence in his team, but like, was he really shocked when Minshew kept turning the ball over? Was he really shocked that AOC was struggling and Minshew was struggling? Was he really shocked that the offense was struggling? Because the offense was struggling the entire offseason. And this is literally from the word from Tashawn Reed. We had him earlier on in the season, and he pretty much was like, he was there from the beginning and the entire offseason. Like, the offense was terrible. Yeah. It wasn't a surprise that the offense was playing bad during the season, because they were doing that the entire offseason. Yeah. It wasn't because the Raiders defense was dominating. We would love to think that. But a lot of it was Raiders just weren't good on offense. And it's just kind of interesting that he said that he was surprised that, he felt good about the group. But, what were your thoughts when you heard that?
Man, AP is a ball-faced lie, bro. AP is a ball-faced lie. First off, this dude, like, this whole time they've been asking him about play calling. He kept saying, "Oh, it's not play calling. I'm not gonna talk about play calling. That the players got to execute. It's not on play calling. Players got to execute.
Right.
Players got to execute. Players got to execute. Players got to execute." All of a sudden, oh yeah, man, these some of these plays this dude was calling. I don't know about these plays. Like, come on, bro. It's like every time you go out there, you say it's not play calling. Now you're saying it's play calling. And then he said he felt really good about this group, and he's surprised about how things are going offensively.
Right.
This is the same person who said, first off, he said that Aiden O'Connell was like worst case scenario in terms of quarterbacks, right? He's like,
Right.
we're going to go to draft, we're going to go free agency, and worst case scenario, we can go Aiden O'Connell. So I know you didn't have no faith in Aiden O'Connell from the jump. That's probably the reason why you went with Minshew. But then even when you knew you was going to probably go with Minshew, you was like, yo, this offense, there ain't about to be no juggernaut, right? We ain't gonna be, if you're trying to look at a team that's putting up 30 points a game, that's not gonna be us. So obviously you did not feel good about that side of the ball at all. So don't say you feel good about that. Like if you felt good defensively, that's another thing. Hey, I felt we were going to be a good defense. Yada. These offensive struggles are kind of to be expected. But that's not what he said. He said he felt good about the unit, he felt good about the team. Like, you did not feel good about the offense. Now all of a sudden it's revisionist history because you have to make this move. So don't and another problem I have is that it seemed this move was like made on the whim. It was like you have like no plan in place, right? Like there was nothing, you didn't, like you should have already like had it, like bam, okay, I'm getting rid of him. This is gonna be my offensive coordinator. This is gonna be my offensive line coach. This is gonna be my QB coach. So it took they asked him about so it took him 2 days, to say that it was going to be Scott Turner. They initially asked him about it. He said he hadn't made the decision yet. He's going to use this week to look at everything. So you should have, bro. You wasn't looking at everything already. Like you should have, like everything's been in front of you this entire time. So you should have been looking at everything already. And then like you should have had these moves announced already. Like bam, this is my plan. As soon as you make the decision to fire these people, you should have been like, this is who I'm going to replace them with. We still don't have a quarterbacks coach. So, like, it just feel like it was an emotional move made out of desperation. That is a complete self-preservation type move where he felt he had to do something. If not, he was going to lose his job. And that's, you don't want to be reactionary. Anytime you're in a position of leadership, you don't want to be reactionary. You want to be anticipatory. I anticipated something like this happen, and in the event that this happened, this was going to be my plan. I already had this worked out in the beginning, right? I'm playing chess. This motherfucker's playing Candyland. Like you playing like what are you doing? Like it's just making no sense, bro. It makes no sense.
Yeah, man. Look, as the season goes on, the case against AP is getting stronger and stronger. Even then, like I've said, like, hey, look, when you hire a guy that's inexperienced, you gotta be patient. But This is not the NFL is not patient at all. Today's NFL is not patient at all. There are exceptions, and it's worked out beautifully for teams like the Lions. You know what I mean? It's worked out beautifully for other teams who've literally, who have been consistently winning for a long time because they have that certain level of stability. They understand like this is a process and all that. But when you lose, everything gets overanalyzed. Everything, like your weaknesses get put out to the forefront. So we understand it. Like that's why I gotta constantly point out like, hey, the Raiders don't have a quarterback. O-line struggled. That whole offensive coach staff was trash. That's why they got fired. But you can blame AP for that. But I don't want to keep talking about it. But we'll get into the next clip in just a second. But man, shout out to D Menace, man, my guy, man. He over here is shouting out the 50-50 shop, man. Go ahead and get your merch. Get dope hoodies like this, man, 50-50. And we got some Raider hoodies too as well, man. Make sure to check it out. Man, don't miss out, man. The link is in the chat as well as the description. If you're watching the replay or even just watching it now, you got two different places to get it. But obviously, if you're watching it live, you have two different places. But check out the description or the link in the chat. The replay, The link will be in the description. So make sure to get some merch, man. Go ahead and get you some hoodies, man. It's hoodie season, man. It's getting cold. I'm out here in the Bay Area. I don't know where everybody else is at, man. Let us know in the chat too. So where's everybody at? I don't know. Hey, is it getting cold out there in SoCal, or is it still warm?
It's still pretty warm.
Still pretty warm.
Like 70s.
70s. Look, I'm not complaining. We like in the 70s too. Like more like 68, 69, 70 type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it's people in like in the Midwest are like you wimps 68. Like they were in shorts and flip flops to 68 degrees.
It was raining the other day. It rained the other day, so it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, oh damn, like it just rained out. But that's like classic Bay Area weather. It's like just randomly stuff like that randomly just happens in NorCal. But yeah, man. Austin Villa says is Judkins from Ohio State coming out this year. Mine as well. Try to take him to third or fourth if he's coming out. Okay. I don't know if Severe you want to speak to that. Judkins from Ohio State. I don't know if you checked him out.
I haven't checked him out now.
Moon over mine says Bo knows football. Hey,
hard agree.
Bo hard agree.
Yeah, I was thinking Will Levis.
When I hear the name Bo, I'm thinking Bo Jackson off top.
Yeah,
off top. Reggie Bush. Is a guy that you would. Oh, did Reggie Bush have a lot of carries?
No. Lindell White was like their Reggie Bush was like was a guy.
He had a lot of touches. He had a lot of touches though. He had a lot of touches.
Because he caught the ball and stuff like that. But he didn't have like a whole lot. It wasn't a whole bunch of like, hey, you know what, I formation, you running into like it wasn't that kind of stuff.
True.
So
Man,
that was more Lindell White. And Lindell White was good for like a year and some change, and then he completely fell off. Probably because of all the beating he took.
Yeah, but I don't know if Lindell didn't have like I'm not sure if he had a great work ethic. And then Reggie just came at the wrong time in the NFL. Yeah. Like today's NFL, he would be perfect. Perfect, man. Perfect. Think Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? Like those guys that could just all around receive out the backfield. You know what I mean?
Like Alvin Kamara, but better.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, I never really thought like Reggie was. I guess you can call him I don't know if you want to call him a bust, because I don't think he was a bad player. It's just
he just didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah, just live up to expectations. Yeah, didn't live up. Raider Primos, my guy in the building, man. He says salute, showing support before heading to bed. Bet it's a fire show. Come on here, hit that subscribe button to both channels, man. Hey, man, appreciate the support. Yeah. Make sure to check out Raiders Primos on YouTube. Yeah, subscribe to my guy, man. Appreciate you coming through. Kalipe says Deshaun Foster was a factor in college, UCLA.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster was a dog.
Yeah, was he? He playing with Carolina? Carolina.
Yeah. He was second round pick. I want to say he played in that Super Bowl.
Ooh, Darren McFadden. That's what I was thinking about it. Like, did he? I think he might have had Did he have a lot of carries in college? I think he had a lot of carries in college. It seemed like
he did have, but I think he was hurt in college too, though. So that might have.
See, Darren McFadden.
He wasn't hurt in college. That was what was so surprising about him being hurt in the league. He wasn't hurt in college, but he had a lot of carries, but he did a lot of wildcat stuff too. So it's like it was a whole bunch of gadget stuff.
Right. Austin says there are so many more valuable positions to take in the first round, man. I throw up if we took running back in the first.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I think Telesco.
It's like drafting the safety.
Yeah, Telesco's too conservative, and I think he's caught up to what the NFL is about. It's all about value too, as well. So I don't think he's gonna draft a running back in the first. If we are able to get our quarterback without trading up in the first, where would you want to go with that second round pick?
Second round pick, I'm going wide receiver. Second round pick, I'm going wide receiver. So we need another, because Trey Tucker cannot be your number 2 wide receiver. So if you don't get a guy in free agency, I'm going wide receiver. If not wide receiver, I'm going probably guard.
Offensive line.
Then maybe third. Yeah, offensive line. Then third round, I'll start looking at running backs. Third round.
But if there's a guy that's like special in the second round as a running back, you wouldn't even consider it?
I take him. Guy is special in the second round. I do second round. And
it's and there's exceptions, you know what I mean? There's definitely exceptions. Cause look, guess who went in the second round? Derrick Henry.
Back.
Derrick Henry didn't go in the first round. He went in the second round, and look, he's still the best running back in the NFL.
You can find them. You can find them, right?
Right. But we're not done, man. We got another notable quotable. If you want to give the intro to this notable quotable real quick. Let's see. I had it.
Yeah, so one of the most hated figures in all of Raider Nation teamed up with one of the most revered figures in recent Raider memory. And they got Lombardi and Rich Gannon. And they did not hold back, okay? They did not hold back. They had some very scathing things to say about the Raiders, and including Antonio Pierce.
So I was thinking about putting this as flag on a play, but just because it was just so. But at the end of the day, like the Raiders suck. You know what I mean? So like they deserve all the criticism right now. Like they just they're not a good football team, so they deserve to be criticized right now. But here go the clip.
Was happening offensively with Luke Getsy. Look, this is an all too common occurrence with the Raiders, right? We saw this last year during the season. We've seen it again this year. It's just an absolute mess. And I think you hire a head coach that doesn't have experience. You hire an offensive line coach who's never been an offensive line coach in the NFL. He's been an assistant, but he's never really had to run that room. And you got a quarterback coach. It's really not a good situation there with the Raiders. And I think the other problem is that you look at the football team itself. At some point, we can keep firing general managers. We can keep firing head coaches and position coaches. But at the end of the day, how about the players? I mean, they lead the national. They have 19 giveaways this year. It's the most in the NFL, and it's not even close. They can't play defense. They're supposed to be really good on defense. They're not good on defense. Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns yesterday. At some point, somebody in the locker room needs to look around and say, you know what, guys? How about we play better football? How about we practice harder? How about we pay a little bit more attention to the details? I think it really gets back to the culture and the environment in the building. And to me, that's where I'd start.
Rich, but you can't start there because what happened was all the players complained to Mark Davis that it was too hard before. And so they went for a kinder, gentler program with Antonio because he was, quote unquote, a player's coach. So you fired McDaniels. And look, I'm not defending Josh. He made a lot of mistakes there, but he was trying to hold people accountable, trying to have harder practice, but the Patriot way wasn't what they wanted. They wanted to smoke cigars in the locker room. They wanted to celebrate their freedom. And now that they have all this freedom, they stink. But they can go to Dairy Queen after the game, which is always important because everybody participated. I mean, that's the most important thing, participation. Forget about winning. I mean, you and I have been part of I think you and I are the last time that actually franchise mattered, to be honest with you. And until Mark Davis steps aside and lets somebody of a professional nature who actually understands what his father stood for, there's no chance they're going to win.
I mean, it's really not good. The product on the field is bad. You go to a Raiders home game, and if it's against the Chiefs or 49ers or Steelers, you feel like you're at a home game for the opponent. I mean, it's just the fans are frustrated. I get beat up on social media. They've had enough. They want to fire everybody. At some point, you have to look at the whole operation. I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen at the end of the season. I can't imagine that Antonio Pierce will be back next year, but it's I don't know who he's listening to. That's the other thing, right? Like Mark has had a lot of people in his ears over the years. I don't know who he's listening to and if he's getting the right advice.
To me, Mark's got to make a decision. How do I want to build it? It needs to be a complete remodel, and Antonio Pierce isn't qualified to remodel a living room, let alone a franchise worth $8 billion. So I agree. I wouldn't trade Crosby. I would hire somebody, whether it's Mike Vrabel, whether it's Kirby Smart, whether it's somebody that comes in who's bigger than the program that you can't fire, right? That the players can't run to Mark Davis and complain and say, I want him fired.
How you doing? Have you voted already?
Man.
He did not hold back.
Man, when I say that was the definition of shots fired, man, they were taking shots left and right. And is Rich Gannon, is he part of Raiders media? He was super honest, like supremely honest.
You ran out of bullets. You had to. You couldn't even reload no more, bro. You had to.
Man,
you ran out of bullets.
They went in, bro. Just to highlight some of the things that they said. Literally, he's getting on the team and obviously how they're playing, the players not playing well, yada yada yada. We all know that, but the big thing is how critical, Rich Gannon was of AP, and in that he doesn't believe that he's going to come back next season. Yeah. So I'm sure he's saying that based off what he sees, but also I'm sure he probably hears some things too, as well. But that being said, I don't know if you work for the Raiders media and you're that critical. Does that mean you're coming back? Are you going to continue to work for the Raiders media? I don't know if Rich Gannon is going to be. I don't know if Rich Gannon is going to continue to be working as a commentator or working as an analyst for the team, because if usually when you see anybody that's affiliated with the team, they're very, politically correct. They're not going to really be overly critical of the team and stuff like that. Yeah. But Rich, he's had a history of, and rightfully so, he wants the Raiders to win. I'm not saying that he some of the points that he makes are valid or not valid. It's the fact that he's had a history where he's kind of frustrated with the team and how they're playing. And he said some crazy things, and he said in the past, I remember when he used to be a color analyst or commentator for CBS, I believe he had some critical things to say with the Raiders, especially when they were losing at that time. And, he kind of even Rich Gannon talked about it in a recent interview where he said it was a hard for him to commentate the Raider games because it was hard to be critical but at the same time, if he's critical, then guys Al Davis would definitely be mad about it and would take it really personally and things like that. And does Mark take it personally? Does he, would you employ someone that was talking trash about your company?
I mean, I think Mark is cool with Rich Gannon. So I think, he probably has a certain amount of leeway that maybe other people don't have. And it's not like what he's saying is not like what he's saying is he's not lying. You're not out there lying. If he was talking trash and it was what it was lying, it's a different situation. But he ain't lying, man. Michael Lombardi was really going in. Michael Lombardi was putting extras on there.
Lombardi was throwing Mike Tyson he was waiting for this. He was waiting to I was waiting to just. He said you're not
saved up,
bro. He's not qualified to build
remodel a living room. What did he say?
Yeah, he says remodel a living room, let alone a team. I'm like, damn, bro. You coming from? And then he was making definitely pause. Nah, but he also mentioned he was taking shots on how the Raiders went from the Patriot way to smoking cigars at the end of the games. Yeah. He said they were trying to win participation points. The stuff that he was saying was it's funny. Definitely funny, man.
Yeah, funny, but the thing is that this is not.
But it's personal too.
What, man?
But it was personal too.
Yeah, it was definitely personal. He definitely feels some kind of way about him firing his son.
Yeah.
But the thing is that this is all stuff we've talked about before on the show, right? the fact that the players didn't like Josh McDaniels because like he would overcorrect them in practice and stuff like that. Like what, bro? Like you're a professional football player. Like, our film sessions were too long. Like, well, you guys are losing. Like, what do you expect? You if you're losing, you don't get out a film session in an hour and a half, bro. If we got to go 2 hours, we got to go 2.5 hours. If we got to go 3 hours, though, whatever it takes to win. You guys are professional football players. You should be doing what you need to do to get better and to win these games. So when I start hearing stuff like that, that's when red flags are automatically raised. Like, bro, y'all got your priorities all wrong. Y'all got your priorities completely wrong. If you thinking you gonna get out of here so you can do what? Like go hang out, go play PlayStation, go play My Player on 2K. Like, what is y'all go play Call of Duty? Like, y'all are losing games. Like, and you're mad that you're being overcorrected in film sessions. So it's just a situation where it's like that their mentality was all wrong last year. And ironically, like the guys, Devontae was one of them, unfortunately. But guys like Max and Devontae, they didn't mind being coached hard, or Devontae claimed he didn't mind being coached hard until he was trying to get his way up out of here. But yeah, so but if that's your complaint, is that you're being overcorrected, then stop messing up. Like, I can't correct you if you don't do the wrong thing, right? So do the right thing next time. This is why we're doing this. So it's I don't know, man. Like we're in a hell of a situation.
Right. Austin Avila says this man Lombardi can't wait to shit on AP every chance he get. Bro really hates this man for firing his son. Yeah, man. He definitely was throwing shots. He had lines. Yeah. The delivery was funny. Like he was just like, it was hella matter of fact. He was like a matter of fact, like, you know what I mean? Like he was super serious with it.
Go to Dairy Queen.
yeah, man. It is what he's waiting for it. He definitely. I thought he made some points, but it was personal. He
put extras on it.
Like the lines. He didn't have to do the lines. He didn't have to come in for him like that. He didn't have to. He's like, let alone build He can't build a living room, let alone a team. Like he.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like he.
Rich Gannon was more straightforward. It was more like matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lombardi, he couldn't wait. Like you said, what's the old boy dude that used to play for the Jets? Can't wait. Like he's like you want opportunity to shit on AP? Can't wait.
Bro, I gotta get that sound bite, bro. That's classic.
You gotta get that one.
That's classic. That's classic NFL right there. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Bro, the dude was hella intense. Raider Nation 510, we need to hire Bill Romanowski to pump up the team. I don't want to hire Bill could come through though. He could come through the facility. I don't know if I would want him to coach. I think he would.
He got the headbutting dudes.
He's right, headbutt, like just try to fight players. I mean, I'm just joking, but I don't know if Bill would want to coach an NFL team.
Bill Romanowski, one of those dudes whose voice like don't match their body, like Mike Tyson. I heard Bill Romanowski talk like what? That's your voice?
yeah. Mike Tyson got a weird voice, but it's you recognize it though. You ain't
Same thing with Bill Romanowski.
That's Mike Tyson. That's Mike Tyson. That's Mike Tyson. You talk with a lisp?
Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah.
He's like, I can't even do it.
What the knock Jake Paul?
Like what kills me sometimes when he'll randomly use big words unnecessarily. You know what I mean? Like he just.
I'm gonna hit him right in his solar plexus and like
hella unnecessary. I was gonna say something crazy, but but yeah, hey, just Mike Tyson, because I remember him. This is I was not gonna even say something that wasn't true, but I think it was like one of his. Y'all need to check out his documentary. There's a documentary on Mike Tyson. I forgot it came out
It's a good documentary too.
It was real good, funny too. There were some funny moments that like some people would probably be hella serious, but I remember it was a part where he was just crying, but I still He's like, I still kill you. I'll beat your ass. This dude was in tears. He's like, yeah, it brought me a lot of tears and emotion, but he's like, but I want to play it so y'all can see what I'm talking about, but I ain't trying to. I know we on a time crunch real quick, but
that's hilarious.
It's hella funny. Gene Walker says, looks like we're losing out, though. If Raiders get one win, it'll be in KC. Whew. Okay. All right. You calling your shot, man.
Man.
Calling out a KC win, that would be crazy. And AP, that could be on AP could be like, hey, look, I'm one of the only coaches that could beat KC. You know what I mean? Like
right.
that could be his little thing to stand on if he wants to come back. But when's the Lombardi diss track coming out? Man, it sound like about to come out like soon, real soon.
He already dropped it. He dropped it. He dropped some snippets.
I'm exasperated. Man, Mike Tyson is hilarious, but I take him serious though, man. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna play around with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, he is a crazy motherfucker, man. I'm just gonna keep it real, man. But hey, man, let's move it along real quick, man. Let's take it to what's real, what's not, man, and get out of here. If y'all just joining us, this is where we say a statement, and you just react to it by saying it's real or not. Obviously, we're going to do the same. And let's go ahead and start with the first statement is firing Luke Getsy this late in the year signals that AP is coaching for his job. Firing Luke Getsy this late in the year signals that AP is coaching for his job. Is that real? Or is it not? His defense isn't impregnable. Bro, Mike Tyson, man, he's funny dude, man. Funny,
hilarious dude, hilarious and scary at the same time.
yeah, man. But yeah, going back to the statement, pretty much firing Luke Getsy means that AP's days are numbered. You know what I mean? He's coaching for his job. Let us know if it's real or is it not in the chat. I'm gonna say it's real. I'm gonna keep it continued. Last week I said that that Tom Brady, pretty much that whole situation I think kind of gave me a little bit of like an eyebrow raise just thinking about like, you know what, Brady is gonna be in the building and he's gonna want to come in here and probably get the people that he wants in this building as far as with his team. He's gonna have a lot to say. Right now, I don't think I'm not sure if they've sat down and talked about the team. I'm sure they had, but I think it's going to happen after the season. And I just think that, like, Tom Brady on top of just the way the season is going and obviously just AP just firing the OC, I think AP kind of feels it a little bit like, okay, you know what? Because you mentioned this, and we talked about this earlier for the show where, like, hey, look, at the end of the day, like, AP was talking about like, oh, it's all about execution and execution this. A couple days later, he's all like, yeah, we're going to have to call a better game. We're going to have to coach better, this, that, and there. So, like, one day he's saying that, the other day he's saying this. So I'm sure, but to be fair, though, it is a combination of both. It's not just all on the OC. I don't think Luke Getsy, it was all on Luke Getsy. I think players were probably open and the quarterback couldn't hit him. And also he had bad play calls at certain moments in the game. And it was just a perfect storm. And you know how it is. Like, someone's going to be the scapegoat. But yeah. I think that's real. That statement that AP coaching days are numbered based off the desperation move of firing, Luke Getsy this late in the season, I think it's real. What's your thoughts?
It's definitely real, man. And I kind of pointed to earlier, like, you don't make this kind of move unless you feel you have to start winning games. Like, you have to start winning some games or start showing some signs of something. Because it is, at this point, it would be no other reason to do it, right? Like, it wouldn't align with any of your, like, would-be goals at this point. Like, you need better draft position. So I just think that, like, he's he's painted into a corner right now because it's like they need a quarterback for the future, but like it might be a situation where he's basically procuring the necessary draft picks for another guy to draft that quarterback in the future. So he can't even think about that quarterback in the future. He has to think about himself now. But if we don't get a quarterback, he can find himself in this exact same position next year.
Right.
So it's a very tough spot for him to be in. But I think at the end of the day, he's worried about keeping his job now, and he'll worry about next year. So I think it's definitely signals that he's coaching for his job.
Let me ask you this: do you think that because it was so weird that they end up going with Minshew and AOC going into the season because like they literally don't have the experience, starting experience, the success at that level, like to really be confident that they could be successful.
Yeah.
Do you think that just going back to the draft, when the Raiders missed out in the first round, do you think a guy like AP was like, you know what? If I get a quarterback now, I'm going to be attached to this quarterback. So if I get Spencer Rattler in the 5th, I'm going to be attached to Spencer Rattler. People are going to be like, you got your quarterback, and let's say Spencer Rattler, he's going to look like a rookie, and he struggles, especially let's say if with the way this team has played overall, the O-line, and Devontae demanding trade and all this type of stuff happening, then AP is going to be like, you had your young, everybody's going to be like, you got your QB, even though technically speaking, it's a QB drafted in the 5th round. You think that AP was thinking that far ahead? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
No, because not a guy drafted in the 5th. Maybe if it was like a high second, or like a 1st, but not a guy in the 5th. I think a guy in the 5th at that point, people understand. Like ideally, this guy doesn't.
No, they don't. Severe. They thought AOC was gonna be the next Raider great. They thought
that was
people think that AOC it was something that was gonna be great. Like, come on, you've been critical of it. You've been critical of like how everybody's been so high on AOC for whatever reason. So you can't.
That's what you call shared delusion. I mean, but people thought AOC was going to be that good because he had a good preseason, right? And there were some people that were in on AOC before, look at her, look at this. And know what? That was part of the media too, because the media was like, oh, look at his throwing motion. Does it remind you of somebody?
Right.
It's like people were trying to, and they were already trying to make those Tom Brady connections. So people were already like, oh, Tom, he's a late round guy. He's not mobile. He's a pocket passer. He's already making those Tom Brady comparisons, and then he went out there and then he had a good preseason, and then people were, oh my God, he's the guy. Right. He's Tom Brady. And so I think that's that. So the media played a part in that. But like I said, people were just so thirsty for a quarterback that any guy that looked halfway decent, they were like, oh my God, this is the guy. But I don't think that. I think that. And I think AOC's presence would have kind of saved some of that, from a guy like Rattler, because everybody is so hard, was going so hard for Aiden O'Connell. Pause, but I think that they wouldn't have even had the attention on Rattler like that, right? They would, if anything, they would have seen kind of Rattler as like adversarial because he's a threat. He's a threat to Aiden O'Connell. So. I don't think they would have, kind of held him to that. They would have been mad. They would have been more critical if he didn't play Aiden O'Connell more. Like as soon as they named Gardner Minshew the starter, it's AP ain't qualified. Like what? Like based on based on what? Because you didn't choose a quarterback you liked more. So I think it was more of that kind of stuff.
Shout out to Raiders Fan Radio. The other day I seen a clip that they had, and they do good things over there. So if y'all haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. And hopefully we'll get them on here soon. We get Murph or the guys out there, Raiders Fan Radio, to come through. But they had an interesting segment where they talked about them going to a Raiders gala or event, and the conversations that was being had there, a lot of the Gruden came up a lot. The name Gruden, John Gruden, came up a lot, and the scenario was thrown out there where if AP stays, the offensive coordinator would be John Gruden. And if John Gruden obviously is the offensive coordinator, you go into next season with AP, and if the team struggles, then you got your guy in John Gruden that can come in and take over as head coach. What do you think of that possible scenario?
I don't think that Antonio Pierce would go for that. So unless it was a situation that was forced on him, I don't think he'd go for that, because like I think back to there was a time when Rick Neuheisel was the head coach of UCLA, and they needed a defensive coordinator. And one of the guys that was out there that was available was a coach named Randy Shannon.
Yeah.
And from all reports, and Randy Shannon, he was a defensive guy. I think he had ended up being the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, and he was fired. But one of the reasons why Rick Neuheisel didn't want to hire Randy Shannon is because he didn't want a ready-made replacement right there waiting for him to get fired, and then to swoop in and take the job and already have a guy that was experienced. Does AP have that kind of ego? No, but I think right now his antennas are up like never before.
Right.
But also, I don't think Gruden would take that role, because Gruden is not the kind of guy that's going to come in and be humbled and say, okay, I'm going to take offensive coordinator job, and let somebody else basically, be the leader of the team. And, there's a good number of guys that were guys that he drafted, he brought onto the Raiders. So it's like, how does that dynamic work? And John Gruden is a guy, he covets control. He wanted, he pushed Reggie McKenzie out the door because he wanted more control. He wanted to blur that line between GM and head coach. So he wanted his handpicked GM there. So I don't think he takes that role either. I don't think it works out for either guy.
I think it would be dysfunctional for sure. Really dysfunctional.
Entertaining dysfunctional.
Because you got AP, who obviously he's going to be demanding of that locker room, and if you got a guy like John Gruden, who's probably respected as well, there's some players that played under John Gruden that's still on his team.
Exactly.
They're going to be looking at John and be like, hey man, if this dude was the head coach, I think we would win. I think it would divide the locker room a little bit, or it would cause some drama, and John is probably going to be really bold.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, look, he has the lifetime pass from Mark.
Yeah.
It is what it is. He's really good friends with Mark. They're really close. He gave him that 10-year deal. He honored that contract. They don't the Mark and John are good when it comes to a lot of the issues with John are with the league and all that stuff, right? But some part of me is like, man, what would John Gruden look like an offensive coordinator, like him at OC?
Yeah.
I think the problem with John, I felt like if we had to nitpick on his issues with the team, I just felt like he was too heavily involved with the offense to the point where I'm not sure if he was seeing the mistakes he was having or the issues that he was having in short yardage situation. Imagine John just strictly focusing on offense. That would be crazy. I think he would be really good. Just because the type of personality he is, attention to detail, you already know that playbook is going to be thick. You already know that whole. I just feel like as an OC, I think John would be pretty good, but then it just be drama, and I think
too much drama.
Too much drama. It wouldn't
too
make any
much
sense.
Drama.
But yeah, man, that was yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, it's one of those situations where, yeah, like you said, man, it's too much drama. I mean, ironically, there was an I was going when I did my live on Sunday night. There was a name that was brought up that was very interesting. and that is for offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien. He's a guy that was quarterbacks coach with Tom Brady.
Hey,
he's
a
guy that he had Deshaun Watson playing, balling,
right?
Like the best football of his career. Kind of fizzled out as a head coach. I don't think a lot of people are going to be knocking down his door to hire him as a head coach again.
Right.
I think he's in college right now. I know he spent some time with Alabama. I think when Saban left, I think he left as well. But that's a name that's interesting.
Got Bryce Young, that number 1 pick,
Yep.
Heisman year. He was the OC for Alabama.
Yep.
Look, another possibility that I'm really thinking about is the former head coach of the Titans. I can see that happening.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I can see that he's real close with Tom Brady.
As our head coach.
Yeah,
I can see that. I was talking about Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator.
No. But what I'm saying is that I can see a Mike Vrabel becoming the head coach, and then Bill O'Brien getting hired as OC.
That's interesting.
I could see that happening, but I'm not sure if Mark is ready to have Patriots. I mean, he got Tom Brady in there. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna have to expect that some Patriots.
Oh.
I mean, he got Richard Seymour as a minority owner. Tom Brady is a minority owner.
Yeah.
I just hope that if AP doesn't get another year, I'd please hopefully the Raiders do not hire Bill Belichick. I hope.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You talking about? I mean, respect to Bill Belichick, one of the greatest, if not the greatest coaches of all time, greatest coach of all time. But at this point, he's in his 70s, right? He's in his 70s.
I believe so. Yeah.
At this point, he's like year to year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't really expect him. Like, you can't really. How could you make a long-term plan with Bill Belichick? And his goal is not really to win the Super Bowl. He's just trying to surpass the all-time winning games. I believe he's behind the former Dolphins coach. I'm trying to remember his name.
Oh, dang.
That one undefeated.
Yeah.
Real quick, the chat, man. If y'all know, put it in the chat.
I want to say Daily, but I don't remember.
No. It was Dolphins coach, went undefeated with the Dolphins, and they got a little friendly rivalry. I remember when the Patriots almost went undefeated that year.
Yeah, he called Belichick Belichick.
I'm trying to think. Let me see. I'm gonna have to look at this up real quick, man. This is gonna drive me crazy. Dolphins undefeated.
Mike Shula. Don Shula.
Don Shula. Hey, man, my guy, number one. Your name is, I'm going to say number one MC. Number one MC, man. Appreciate it. Whew. Came through right on time, man.
Yeah.
But, Steve says, well, we only need a head coach. You want to know why? Because I'm looking at our OC in DC, Severe and Farrell. Get ready for the Lombardi diss.
Yeah, Steve said that Bill O'Brien is head coach of Boston College right now. So I doubt if he bounces out of there.
Hey, man, I wanted Raider Nation 510, man. I wanted Zach Robinson to come to the Raiders, but he did not even give the Raiders a chance to interview him. I don't know if they. It was just that it is what it is, and I think what. People were making this point, and now I'm looking at it, just looking at this coaching staff and how the team is playing. AP's experience in that his connections, because a lot of the coaches that he had are really old, and he went for experience, but the experienced guys obviously went for guys that they knew because they've been around for a while. So I get what AP was trying to do with that, but if you look at his staff, it's not really a whole lot of young up and coming. You got Cadillac Williams, a former running back.
Cadillac.
I mean, Cadillac Williams.
Ricky Manning Jr. is young.
Ricky Manning Jr. Yeah, okay. He got some people on the coaching staff. That's but
the one young guy he went with was Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy only 40.
Yeah, and the thing is too, they were saying that like everybody on the offensive side of the coaching staff, they didn't know each other. They really don't know each other before this year. So like a lot of it was just a lot of like moving parts where you're trying to put things together that probably wouldn't work. Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. But when you really look at it, but Zach Robinson from ATL could be a solid head coach candidate.
Could be. I'm taking Bobby Slowick over before I take Zach Robinson, to be honest with you.
What do you think of Ben Johnson?
So
you think the hype is real? He got a whole lot of hype, man.
I don't know. Like, I was one of the first people to bring up Ben Johnson last year. And the situation I have is that people talk about like remodeling and all this stuff, but who have we seen Ben Johnson develop? So we want him to be the guy that takes our young quarterback and turns him into something. Who have we seen him develop? He got to the Lions. Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the league, right? You got Decker at right tackle. They got one of the best centers. Then they drafted Penei Sewell, who was like, generational prospect he's and the left tackle was so good that they had to put Penei Sewell at right tackle. Mm-hmm. And then you already had a legit number one wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. You had a Super Bowl former All-Pro quarterback in Jared Goff. Like they had weapons all over the place. They had talent there. They had all the talent there. So like have we seen him develop anybody? Who have we seen him develop? So and this is going to be a situation where if he doesn't have instant success his first year, or we just like, all right, well Ben Johnson, he's not the guy, obviously. So let's find the next hot name out there. It's like you gotta at some point, man, you gotta stick with something. And so you keep saying that, the next person we're going to stick with, we're going to get this. Because remember, before we hired AP, everybody understood, it's going to be growing pains. He's a rookie head coach. He's going to make some mistakes. We're going to give him like 2-3 years. But now it's like, you got to get rid of him. So and now everybody's saying, it's Ben Johnson, and then they're going to be saying, no, man, we're going to give Ben Johnson at least 2 years. Then if stuff don't go immediately well for Ben Johnson, man, we got to get rid of him. Let's hire Zach Robinson now. Let's hire Frank Smith now. This cycle is going to repeat itself until you stop that cycle.
Well, the Lions did draft Hendon Hooker, who obviously missed his entire rookie season, recovering from the injury that he had, ACL, that he had in college, which he could have possibly been, if he was healthy, possibly could have been like a first round QB, or at least go in the second round. I think he went in the third round.
I think he went third round, yeah.
Yeah, I think he went early in the third round to the Lions, but that's a guy that, you could say that he's developed in that system, but we won't. We
never seen him though.
We never really seen him. I mean, maybe preseason, but that's not preseason. Ain't obviously regular season. But we'll see, man. Maybe there's a blowout game and Hendon Hooker comes to the game, or Jared Goff, if for whatever reason has to leave, gets hurt or whatever, and you see Hendon Hooker in the game and he balls out. Are you going to give him benefit of doubt after that?
I'll give him benefit of doubt after that. Yeah.
There's always gonna be some question marks. There's always gonna be question marks. No one is coming in with like, oh man, squeaky clean resume. Like there's always gonna be. You can nitpick every candidate, but I wouldn't.
That's my point. But that's my point though. It's like you can nitpick every candidate. Like if you look at just like. What I'm more impressed with what Bobby Slowick has done with the Texans, who's not a team that anybody thought would be any good when he got there, with the defensive-minded head coach, right? With the rookie quarterback, with injuries all across the offensive line, with the dearth of talent at wide receiver and at the skill positions. I'm more impressed with what he's done with that than what Ben Johnson has done with the Lions. Yeah. Especially considering that, Jared Goff was a vet guy who came from the Sean McVay tree. So he was already had been under the tutelage of a guy like Sean McVay. So they like some of this is already built in. Like he's like Jared Goff is so good that like this past game they just played right against the Packers in the rain, where most teams are struggling to throw. Like Ben Johnson was confident enough to let Jared Goff throw the ball a bunch of times, and Jared Goff didn't have an incompletion until like late in the second quarter, and that's because I think he basically had like I don't remember if the pass got tipped or if he had to dirt the ball, something like that, but like it wasn't even like an inaccurate throw. It was like a situation where like he wasn't going to be able to complete that pass. So like that's how confident and that's how good Jared Goff is as a player. So like if Ben Johnson doesn't have that guy in there, like what does that system look like, or what does he look like?
Yeah, you know what? I think we'll see how it shakes out. I think Slowick, a lot of these candidates too, you got to question like, can they lead a football team? Yeah. It's different being a coordinator. Are they? Is it a? That's the thing. Is it going to be an example of like, oh, great coordinator, but head coach? Nah. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be a gamble, like especially with these first year head coaches. But the Raiders are going to have to. If you look at this, a lot of the successful teams, they're all like. I mean, if you look at the 49ers, the Steelers, I'm trying to think of head coaches. I mean, you mentioned the Texans. When coming to their team, that was their first year at head coach. Yeah. McDaniel with the Dolphins. Yeah, Sean McDermott with the Bills. Those were their first time at those spots. So the Raiders are going to have to take a risk and figure if they stick with AP, that they already did that. They already took that risk. But if they don't stick with AP, I'd rather them go with someone who is a first-year guy, like a new guy, you know what I mean, that's more innovative, that knows exactly what's going on right now, instead of going with like I don't want to hear Bill Belichick's name. I don't want to even hear John Gruden's name. I don't want to see John Gruden. I want to see Bill Belichick. Like, go with someone more youthful. Like, I know Mark is probably like traumatized by Dennis Allen, who was recently fired this week. I guess it's a segue to the next not notable, quotable, but what's real, what's not. Yeah. But let's just get into it real quick, man. So Dennis Allen was fired in New Orleans in part due to Derek Carr's struggles and factoring in our poor play at QB position post Carr. The Raiders would have been better off keeping him on the roster. So pretty much I guess the statement is the Raiders would have been better off keeping Derek Carr on the roster based off like the current QB situation. Is that real or is it not? The Raiders would have been better off if they had Derek Carr at QB. Like this happened recently. I mean, Derek Carr is breaking records, all for the wrong reasons. He lost a record 31 NFL teams, never been done before, and he could lose to every NFL team when he plays the Raiders this season, later in the season. Yeah. If he plays, you never know. Like, they might start the rebuild or might move on to a different quarterback at that point. I mean, if the way they're headed is like they're losing. Yeah, exactly. But that being said, is it real or not? Would the Raiders be better off with Derek Carr?
I'm gonna say it's not real, but I'm thinking more long term. Maybe in the short term, would we have won more games this year? Probably, or even last year, probably. But would that have been what's best for our franchise? No, because we weren't going to be Super Bowl contenders with Derek Carr. Like, we're going to be just good enough to stay bad forever. That's best. That's the story of Derek Carr's career. He keeps you just good enough to be bad, just good enough to not get a really good draft pick and not get an elite prospect, but he's good enough where you still have hope that he can be that guy. So I just don't. Yeah, I just don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think we would have been better off with Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr is way better than Minshew or AOC. Is more talented. I think he's just a better QB. But I think that we would have been stuck with Derek Carr. I think there would have been a ceiling with Derek Carr. You know, and Derek is not going to elevate the team.
No.
So
obviously,
in that, so if you say it in that way, then he's kind of in the same boat as AOC and Minshew. He's just better.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to elevate the team. I don't think Derek is going to elevate the team just because, you know, when we seen him in big games, when we seen him in big moments, for the most part, you know what I mean? Like, he's come up short. You know, people try to bring up like, oh, well, he has these comebacks, but yeah, but like if you're really watching the games, like how many mistakes did he? How many like mistakes where you be like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, former Super Bowl winning head coach for the Bucks, Bruce Arians, commentated the game one time with Derek Carr throwing a pass to Jared Cook at the time, was a tight end. And Jared Cook wasn't looking. And you probably could say, man, it might have been Jared Cook's fault. But, like, Bruce Arians was pretty critical of Derek Carr. He's like, I like Derek Carr. He does some really nice things, but, like, every now and then he just does a play where you just like, what the F are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was being completely honest. Yeah. Like, for me, that was probably one of the most honest play-by-play. Like so he probably forgot that he was on live because he was like, bro, like what is wrong with this dude? Like he just makes these type of plays. Like, and we y'all know what I'm talking about with Derek Carr. Like I'm talking about like fumbling through the end zone, not once but twice.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
The same
like,
way. The same
losing
way.
against Minshew. He lost against Minshew in the last game in Oakland.
Yeah.
Oh my God! But you know, he has one of the weirdest. Hey, as an NFL player, as a pro sports player, he's successful. He's gotten to the league. He's had a long career. He's been a starter the hardest one of the hardest position in an NFL or sports. You can make an argument at quarterback, but if you just talking about just in the NFL world, if you're just looking at it and comparing, like he's probably had one of the weirdest careers I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? I think he's had one of the weirdest years I've ever seen. Just because like he hasn't really won that much or had that much success, but he's had a long career. It's just weird. Like he just continues to start, and I think this is probably going to be his last time starting in the NFL. With the Saints. I think he's done after that, unless like, some Joe Flacco type stuff happens. I mean, if he continues to play, I'm not sure. I don't know, man, but
he's gonna be a backup from now on. The thing about Derek Carr is that like you see flashes, but like those flashes are never prolonged. They never last. Like remember, like you talking about like oh boy, remember like Jim Moore Jr. They were asking him about Carr. He was like, do you think he's gonna be better? He's like, no, he's not gonna get any better. Like this guy, he was just like going on some long rant about how Carr's never gonna get any better, and he's just not, man. He's just not. But you got the super chat, my guy AJ Simpson.
Yeah, man. Shout out to AJ Simpson with the super chat, man. My guy. He says, man, screw all that. Let's do a mock draft.
Hey,
I know, right?
Mock draft season is coming up, man.
Hey, bro, we're probably going to have to start doing it, man. Like, probably near the end of the season. We'll just, like, have some fun with that. But yeah, man, I think Derek Carr, I think his career, I mean, his career is not over, but, like, I think the end of Derek Carr being, like, a solid NFL QB ended when Gruden left. Because he was in that system for that long. He was comfortable. Like, he was able to play to his strengths where he could, do all those pre-snaps because he was comfortable in the offense.
Yes.
But after that, like, it's been downhill, man. I thought, like, oh, you know what? Like, the season started off like, okay. Because, beginning of the season, the Saints were scoring points left and right. And one of the main talking points of Derek Carr playing well is that he doesn't have a lot on his plate anymore. They took away his ability. not took away all of his ability as pre-snap, but he's not the just play fast.
Yeah.
We're gonna call in a play, you run it. I'm sure like he probably had like one or two options to change the play, but for the most part, he didn't have to be in there, looking at the defense, trying to get into the right play, trying to get in the right protections. They took away those responsibilities, let him play fast. It looked good starting early, but then, same old, he got hurt. It is what it is, man. Dennis Allen, he got Dennis Allen fired twice.
Yeah.
Twice. I mean, first year the Raiders, they weren't that good of a team,
Exactly.
And Mark was not a big fan of Dennis Allen. Like he did not look at him as a head coach. Like he didn't come off as like a head coach.
Still don't.
And I think there was a clip I seen that they said the day that Dennis lost the Saints locker room is when you remember when Jameis ran the play for a touchdown and he was supposed to knee it.
Oh yeah.
But he just went for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen went to go shake. At the time, it was Arthur Smith, head coach of the Texans.
Yeah.
And Arthur Smith is cussing him out, and he tried to like apologize.
Yeah.
And the players seen that and were like, in that moment, that was your moment to like be like, man, fuck you, man. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
He said like the players are like, they would have been cool with you just telling them like, what the fuck y'all doing in the locker room, and actually like criticize them and letting them know like, hey, like that's not what we do. They would have been understanding. But in a moment where they felt like you could have represented us and defended us, you came off pretty soft, or what I'm saying, in that situation. So that was kind of interesting take from a former player who's close to that locker room. But it is what it is, man. That's the Saints. Who cares about them? Been a great show. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are going live on both channels, so make sure to tune in. At this point, clock out, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We going live on both channels. Make sure to hit it. Yeah, man, AJ, man, appreciate the super chat. Also, check out the 50/50 shop, man. Get your hoodies, get all your stuff, man. We got shirts, hoodies, everything you need. Go ahead and check out the 50/50 shop and get your merch. Get your Raiders gear, get your 50/50 gear, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming through. Steve, real quick, says, hey, Clint Kubiak went to coach with Carr, McDaniels with Jimmy G. Even Kyle Shanahan gave up on Lance to coach Purdy. Point is, it seems that most of us, you'd rather have a vet. Severe right, Slowick can be the guy. Okay. Hey, man. But you know what, though? Purdy was a 7th-round pick. So what?
He was a 7th-round pick.
Yeah, he's a 7th-round pick. Like, look, at the end of the day, quarterback is the hardest position to get right. It's the hardest position. That's why I'm like, hey, look, when you don't have a quarterback, you should be getting a new one every offseason. You should be getting a young one, old one. I don't care. Like, you got to get until you get it right. Right now, the Raiders don't have anything. We don't have no hope, nothing at that position where you could be like, hey, this is our long-term answer at QB. But I see what you're saying. Slowick, he did a good job with the QB from the Texans, man. CJ Stroud, man. It's getting around that time, man. My brain is getting fried. But CJ Stroud, hey, man, Slowick, we can give props to Slowick, but Stroud, man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, just watching him play, he just looks like he's gonna be that guy. He's gonna be a top quarterback at that. Probably eventually be the best quarterback in the NFL. Like,
quite possibly,
man, Mahomes.
But JD is making him.
Jaden Daniels, bro.
Too,
like
man.
The way he's coming onto the scene is crazy. So him and Jaden Daniels, man, are going to be. And right now, like the quarterback position is kind of. I feel like it hasn't been the same since like the Bradys and Peyton Mannings and Drew Brees and all. Maybe I'm like stuck in the past a little bit, but just felt like it was way more competitive and. Like every year it was like this guy being the top QB or this guy, but now it's like Mahomes and everybody else. But like CJ Stroud is probably getting better and better every year. I'm sure he's probably going to catch up. But at some
Mahomes
point,
is so good though. That's part of the problem. Mahomes he's so good, bro. It's hard to compete with that dude, man.
Right.
And then he got an offensive coach, head coach.
Yeah.
So that makes it. They're like, you think about Brady, defensive head coach, Manning, defensive head coach. So like to have that head coach quarterback relationship, and you'll be an offensive guy too. Like that's special.
Yeah, I think that's probably why Mahomes is so successful, is because Reed is there year in, year out. Offense doesn't change. Like that relationship is there. But like with CJ Stroud, we're gonna see as his career progresses. Like Slowick, it sounds like eventually he's gonna get a job somewhere, and then CJ is gonna have to adjust. But at that point, like when you play the way he's playing early on in his career, and he's developed the skill set he has, I think he'll adjust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it really hurts QBs that are young and they're coming in and first year they have an OC, and the next year they have a different OC, and the next year they have a different OC. It's like that's where it gets tough. But like I said, hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Severe, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, the Severe Raider on IG, on Snapchat, on X, on TikTok, on basically all the social media platforms. You can catch me every night, 50-50 show, me and my guy Pharaoh. Usually do a show as well with Protect the Shield and 805. We should be back doing that next week. And then we got, Around the Shield. That's every Friday evening. Me and my guys, Pharaoh and Big Mike Raider. Make sure you guys hit up Around the Shield on IG for all the latest and greatest in Raider news. And man, I'm gonna be dropping some stuff too. Had a live Sunday night, went pretty smooth. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for some more.
There you go, man. Yeah, make sure to tune in, man. Go over Severe's channel, subscribe to my guy. Hey, we do this every Tuesday evenings, nights. The 50-50 show. We're gonna keep it rolling. I know the Raiders ain't where they're supposed to be, but hey, look, there's some things that's interesting that's going on with the Raiders right now. Obviously, they're on a bye week this week, so maybe they can regroup, get their new offensive coordinators or coordinator up to speed. We'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, just make sure to tune in every Tuesday evening, nights, 50-50 show, and Around the Shield later this week. Every Friday, me, Severe, and Big Mike Raider, we do a show called Around the Shield, as well as go ahead and follow Around the Shield on social media on mainly IG and X. Go over to X or IG or both, preferably both, and go over and give us a follow for the latest on the Raiders and clips of the show, memes. We got a sense of humor. Sometimes we don't show it here, man. We show it over on different platforms. So go to IG. Go to X, and just tune in. And yeah, hey, look, make sure to tune in. PharoahNFL, PharoahNFL. Be on the lookout for new content as well. We appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a great show. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Hey, babe, the mission is clear. SS.
Hey, there's no T in there, so tank. It better be tank, man. Some to the fake.
Strategic substitutions.
There you go, man. Hey, we out of here, man. Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello. You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.